University surveyed just over 1,000 adults across the country from July 7th through 12th. Marquette survey showed 46% of those polled would choose Trump for the Republican presidential nomination if the election was held today. Thank God it's not being held today. DeSantis received 22% of the votes, while all the other candidates earned the remaining percentage. So Donald Trump is going to get his party's nomination. Not a whole heck of a lot we can do to stop that, unless a bunch of Democrats in the Democratic presidential primary election in Wisconsin, which I'd imagine is probably going to be in April of next year. So a bunch of y'all voted for Tim Scott or something. A bunch of Democrats around the country nominated a different Republican other than Trump, which I don't think the Democrats are going to do that because they don't really employ that kind of strategy. He's going to be the nominee. I think he can win again. I think he can absolutely win again. I don't care about the indictments. I don't care about the trials. That stuff does not seem to stick to him. He's got a very loyal and solid base of support. And I say that to say this. Joe Biden is a difficult proposition to support because the reasons why he needs to be supported are not easy to sell to people that don't really believe in the political process. And so here's why I'm nervous. And I don't know what's going to happen with Kamala Harris. There's going to be all this speculation about Joe Biden's health. Joe Biden is going to fall a couple more times. I'm sure he's going to say something embarrassing because that's what he does. He's going to be confused a couple of times on the campaign trail. But for me, that's all baked into the cake. Like, my standard is so low for him that he can. I said a couple of weeks ago, if Joe Biden said the N-word, I mean, I wouldn't like it, but I'd say, well, what's the context of how he said it? That doesn't mean we shouldn't vote for him just because he made a slip and said the N-word. Because I also know what worst case scenario will be if Donald Trump gets reelected. Kamala Harris does not exactly add, this is my opinion, enough sustainable support to the Biden ticket to make the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris ticket invincible. It is not invincible. You have a new social media platform that I know is going to have some kind of influence on the 2024 election. It's called Threads. So Threads is Facebook's answer to Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. Here's the issue with that. And I'm not going to get into all the election interference and all the fake news stories and all this other stuff from 2016 that really hurt Hillary Clinton's campaign. Well, we since have passed a lot of legislation and regulations on content online as it relates to fake news. Threads does not quite have any of those regulations yet. The other thing I'm concerned about is artificial intelligence. We talk about it here every now and again. I don't really bring it up all that much because I want a specific context for how I talk about artificial intelligence. We know it's going to be a problem. It could be a problem, especially if it runs unchecked. I think with the addition of Threads, this new social media platform that everybody is gravitating toward, it is Facebook's answer to Twitter, and the fact that Threads is unregulated when it comes to political advertising, et cetera, then you combine that with artificial intelligence, this could be an issue. Joe Biden could lose, right? So that's got to be a real possibility in our minds. What happens if Donald Trump gets reelected? So all the investigations, at least the federal ones against Trump, would mysteriously go away. He would replace everybody in the Department of Justice with his loyalists, and the country would go into a downward death spiral that we may never recover from. We saw what happened on January 6th, right? I'm not sure why almost half the country wants to bring that sentiment back to Washington, D.C., but however, I digress. There's a commercial, an ad. Saw it on Twitter, actually. It's not even Twitter anymore. Now it's just X. Well, Twitter is going down the tubes, by the way. Elon Musk is going to ruin Twitter. And again, it's not even that I love social media. It's a necessary evil because it's a way you can talk to a whole bunch of people without talking to a whole bunch of people. Right? I can just say some stuff, type some stuff, and then hit send and then just walk away from my phone and go do other real life stuff. So it's necessary for that. You guys know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is? Perjury Taylor Greene, they affectionately call her on the Hill. Well, there's a commercial. She's a like way far right wing, like white nationalist, white supremacist, pro-Trump, anti-democracy, pro-fascism, anti-Department of Justice, anti-FBI. She's one of those. Hates Joe Biden. Like, hates him personally, right? Not just politically, but hates Joe Biden personally. So there's an artificial intelligence commercial where it's her in her voice. And she's standing on the floor in the House of Representatives, basically going through all of the wonderful and positive accomplishments of Joe Biden. Now, it isn't actually her saying it, but they used artificial intelligence to mimic her voice to reiterate all of these successful things that Joe Biden has done. Clean energy, rebuilding infrastructure, bringing middle-class tax cuts or whatever Joe Biden has done. But it's her basically saying that she supports Joe Biden. And she's like, oh, let me tell you why. And she lists all of these things. That's scary. Because if you see that ad, if you see that post on Twitter, you will really think that Marjorie Taylor Greene is supporting Joe Biden. She absolutely is not. Now, the other thing about that is you might have a commercial where Joe Biden, they're going to use artificial intelligence where the Trump campaign may have Joe Biden's voice saying a whole bunch of positive things about Trump. That's the scary part about artificial intelligence and our politics. It will be used to fool people. Something to be concerned about. All right, let's see what we got here. Mitch McConnell had a bit of a seizure yesterday. That's probably all I'm going to say about that because I want to be sensitive to whatever his medical condition is. But what do you expect when you have a bunch of 80-year-old people that are occupying the halls of the federal government? He likely... Well, I shouldn't say likely. They stay there way too long. Dianne Feinstein, I think, has been dead for 3 or 4 months. She's still in the U.S. Senate. They just don't want to give these positions up. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to talk about something I don't usually talk about because I think it interferes with the work that we have to do in this country socially, politically, academically, economically, all of those things. I don't know if I talk about third parties. When they do surface, and they've always existed. And when I say third parties, there's like 12 of them. There's so many other political parties. But I think in a moment like this, when the country is so incredibly divided, you have a lukewarm, semi-unpopular incumbent Democratic president with a vice president that doesn't really add any major muscle to the ticket. You have Donald Trump and his loyal core support. Donald Trump's loyalists are more loyal than Joe Biden's. And that is a problem because one of them is a fascist and he has the most loyal support. So then when you think about another party trying something different, trying something new, because I think that Americans are frustrated because we cannot do the business of this nation if we are so incredibly divided. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to say a little bit about all the different ways in which we are divided, which you may think you know some of these ways. You probably don't. So I want to go through that. And then there's a campaign, a party. I don't know what they are. They're running a major campaign all over the place called No Labels. And they're taking Democrats and they're taking Republicans, previous Democrats and previous Republicans, and they're running them as third-party candidates to bring common sense and to bring work ethic and ideas that Americans can agree on. They're trying to bring that back into American politics. And it makes me nervous because third-party candidates likely cannot win the presidency, but they will take votes from one side or the other. So we're going to sort all this out on the other side. I'd like to welcome Rhea back from her world tour of pretty much everywhere. She went to Germany, China, Russia, both Koreas. She went to 2 Vietnams. She went to Venezuela, and she went to the Bahamas and Italy and Portugal and Spain. So welcome back, Rhea. Do you still remember how to do all the things?
I'm making it work.
Yeah, you're going to make it work. You ain't been gone that long, is you? All right. Welcome back, Rhea. We'll take a break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth team is hiring. We are currently seeking a motivated individual who is looking to grow their career with The Truth as a marketing manager. If you have a passion for coordinating events, designing and executing sales marketing campaigns, developing teammates, and growing the Truth brand, then this is the career opportunity for you. Good Karma Brands offers full benefits with medical, vision, dental, and PTO. To join the home of Milwaukee Black Talk, visit goodkarmabrands.com/careers. That's goodkarmabrands.com/careers. Good Karma Brands is an equal opportunity employer.
At Associated Bank, they know opportunity can't wait. If you're a female or minority small business owner, their community uplift loans could be for you. Loans range from $5,000 to $50,000. Get funds in as little as one business day. Talk to a relationship manager today about a community uplift loan and other business banking services. Call 800-270-7725. Visit AssociatedBank.com or stop by your local branch. Because you help build the Midwest and your neighborhoods, they got your back. Associated Bank, your money works here. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
July is Thrive Through Month for Good Karma Brands, and we are proud to share an encouraging story from the Truth's General Manager, Cherie Harris, of thriving through her breast cancer diagnosis.
What I knew about breast cancer before I was diagnosed, that I know that is tumors and that lies in your body, and it can metastasize, which means it could spread throughout your body if you don't take care of it right away. So being proactive and having a mammogram every year, whether you're 35 or 40, is key. What I know about it now is that there's different types of breast cancer. It's not just one type, and what I have is triple negative breast cancer, which is very aggressive, one of the most aggressive, and it comes in different stages. So understanding what that is, understanding the stages, just because something is stage 1 doesn't mean it's less harmful than stage 4. It's all about your care and the response to that care. And when you understand that, you'll be in a better space.
Has anything surprised you from either what you knew then versus what you know now? Were you surprised by anything?
Yes, I was surprised. I mean, everybody knows when you have breast cancer, the first thing people think about, I'm going to lose my hair. That is the least of your worries. We need to understand is that you're going to lose living cells in your body. You're going to have chemo brain, which means it's going to harder remember things, form synthesis, simple synthesis. You're going to sleep a lot. You can't control that. Your eating habits are going to change, so you got to be mindful of that. There's a lot of things I was unaware about. Nausea is one of those things as well, but can be controlled, and you should not be afraid of that. So just understanding like the adversities of your care, which means, you know, the side effects and how to counteract those side effects, which means how to prevent it. I think the outcome would be better, and that's what worked for me.
Support our Thrive Through initiative by joining the 1017 The Truth team on July 27th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Broken Bat Brewery in Milwaukee for a breast cancer research fundraiser. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I find it funny how some of you call our elected officials leaders, and you get mad at them. Right, so you'll talk about, our leaders aren't doing this, and I don't like our leaders in the city of Milwaukee. I don't like the leadership and the leaders. You'll call alderpersons leaders. You'll call the mayor a leader, county board supervisors leader. I think some people use that term because they don't even know the actual positions. Like they don't know what the elected positions are called, to just call them all leaders. They're not leaders if you don't follow them. So I'd say stop calling them leaders. Like there are representatives. They are elected executives, but don't call them a leader unless you follow them. I think that's another reason why we are so difficult as human beings to lead. We don't want to follow anybody. We don't like anybody telling us what to do. And we got to admit that. And part of politics is we put people in positions because they have a particular subject matter expertise that we don't. They're better with policy. They're better with budgeting. They can see the future from a different perspective. A lot of folks nowadays are just living their day-to-day lives. They're not looking at 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now. And if you are, you're only looking 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now in the context of your life, your retirement, your kids, your family. You're not looking at the whole neighborhood. Very few people get together and say, hey, let's plan some stuff today for Milwaukee in 30 years. No, they're trying to get through this weekend, quite honestly. But we are extremely difficult people because we don't want to take anybody's advice. And here's the other thing. Even if we ask someone for advice, like a friend or a family member. Like we're asking to be led. We want legitimate guidance on something. Even then, we still only want to hear what we want to hear. We want what we already know to be confirmed. That's most people. And when you're talking about politicians and elected officials, they're not going to tell us what we want to hear. I didn't want to hear Cavalier Johnson tell me he was going to raise the sales tax. He raised it anyway. I didn't want to hear that. So again, if we don't follow these people or follow their advice or follow their policy and their guidance, we shouldn't be calling them leaders, because that means that we're actually letting them take the lead and we are following. I think most people are so arrogant that they don't want to be considered following anybody else. When it comes to how divided we are, let's really thought about this morning, and it explains why we can't get anything done, because there's like real common sense stuff. There should not be another child that gets shot in school. Wouldn't you think that would be something that we could remedy? Because I don't know how many people in this country are okay with that. But I think that we have just gotten used to it, or we chalk up school shootings to the fact that, well, I guess that's just what's going to happen. No, you shouldn't surrender to something like that. Because when I grew up, nobody got shot in school. Like, ever. Never one time. I think when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, a kid in Paducah, Kentucky brought a hunting rifle to his middle school. Very rare that happened. Now, obviously, we've had a downturn in school shootings because the kids aren't in school, but it's still something that happens too frequently, and it's one of those things that should never happen. Most people, most voters, most kids, most adults would agree that we shouldn't have kids getting shot in school. And here's the crazy thing. We know how to prevent it. It's a whole bunch of places in society, lots of them, where you can't bring a gun. In fact, you don't even really think about it because you know you can't bring one there. Rhea, you just went to Europe. Do you think you could have gotten a firearm on any of those international flights? Don't look. No, you're supposed to say no. They stop you immediately. And every now and again, some idiot will have their pistol in their carry-on. They'll forget it's in there. But you get stopped immediately. If we can keep guns off of airplanes, don't you think we can keep them out of a 7th grade algebra class? So we can't even agree on the most basic things. So if you're a Democrat and you believe in all the things that Democrats believe in, you support fair wages and health care for everybody and a woman's right to choose, and you're supportive of labor unions, and you support the LGBTQ, and you support civil rights and voting rights and taking away qualified immunity for the police and environmental justice and clean green energy and all the things that the Democrats believe in. The Democrats believe in a lot of stuff. Okay? If you believe in all of those things, like wholeheartedly, then a Republican could never represent you. They would not be able to represent you well, because the Republicans have an opposite viewpoint on each and every one of those Democratic platform items, right? So if you are a Democrat and you move to a red city or a red county or a red state, you may not feel that your interests are represented amongst those who are in office. That's fair to say. If you're a Democrat, it'll be very hard, if not impossible, to feel represented by a Republican. On the other side of that coin, if you're a Republican and you are extremely conservative and you want your guns and you want your Bibles and you want small government and you want low taxes and you want to get rid of entitlements and no more welfare, if you are living in a big old blue city in a blue state, if you're that kind of Republican, you may not feel represented, right? One way in which we are divided. If you're a Democrat, you cannot feel represented by a Republican. If you're a conservative Republican, you cannot feel represented by a Democrat. That makes sense, right? I don't think that men can represent women. When men are in political office and more than half of your constituents and likely more than half of your voters are going to be women, goes without saying. But because we as heterosexual cisgender men, now I'm going to include all other types of male too. If you've never been a woman, you can't adequately represent someone that you've never been, that you can try to relate to. And I think most men, heterosexual cisgender men, We relate to women through the women that we know, through our family, through our social circles, right? That's how we get some kind of an understanding of women. But let's be clear, that's only the women in our circle. As men, I don't think that we do a good job of completely representing the interests of women. Maybe I should turn my cell phone off when I'm on the radio. That usually helps, doesn't it? I don't think we do a good job. I mean, look at the abortion issue. Men did that, by the way. I mean, they had a little bit of help from women. I think Amy Coney Barrett voted to overturn Roe, but it was all, for the most part, it's men. In the Wisconsin state legislature, it's men that are anti-abortion. The people that are pushing a national abortion ban, again, that's men, right? We do a horrible job of representing women. So this is just another division that we have. So you got party division. Democrats can't feel represented by Republicans. Republicans can't feel represented by Democrats. I don't know how women can feel represented by men, unless she's really rich. And then she just kind of doesn't care. Then she just wants to pay low taxes. But a disproportionate amount of the child care and the child rearing falls on women. Women are paid less. Women are harassed in ways that men are not, and most men can't relate to that. Like, we can hear about it and feel really bad for the women that we know and that we love that go through all that stuff, but we don't know what it's like. And if you don't know what it's like, how can you adequately represent somebody? I don't think that you can. If you're straight, you can be an ally, right? You can support. You can go in gay pride parades and march. You can wear many rainbows, right? You can do all those things. But if you're straight, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what the slurs are like. You don't know what the oppression is like. The looks and the stares you may get. You have no idea. I don't think that straight people can adequately represent gay people. Democrats can't represent Republicans. Republicans can't represent Democrats. Men can't represent women. On the flip side, I don't know if women can represent us, can they? How, if you've never been a man and don't know what men go through? Like 90% of the most dangerous jobs that exist on planet Earth are occupied by men. Men go to most of the wars. We're the death toll in most of the wars. We don't live as long. We have all sorts of things. We're much more likely to commit suicide, much more likely to use and abuse drugs and alcohol, while women can feel sympathy when they're in elected office for those things that men go through. I don't know if they can adequately represent us, right? I don't know if Christians can represent Muslims. And then, of course, the main one, I don't think white people can represent black people. They can try. They can read a bunch of history. They can read about Dr. Martin Luther King. They can read about oppression. They can read about, but I don't think they know how, because if you've never been black, I mean, you can listen to hip hop music, you can have a lot of black friends, but you don't know what it's like. How we interact with the world is different than how white people interact with the world. There are things that we have to consider every moment of our lives as African Americans that never crosses a white person's mind in their entire life. These are things that we have to be concerned about daily, hourly, even by the minute, that white folks are completely oblivious to. I don't think that they can adequately represent it. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. I don't know how many African Americans feel, how many straight African American men who are Democrats feel like they could be represented by a gay Republican woman, right? If you're able-bodied, I mean, my knees hurt sometimes, but they work for the most part. I'm not in a wheelchair, thank God. I got the use of most of my mental faculties, depends on the day. I don't know what it's like to not have use of my arms and my legs. I don't know what that's like. I don't think I could represent someone, or any able-bodied person could adequately represent someone who's confined to a wheelchair. Now, you can empathize, you can sympathize, you can pass little ordinances to make sure there's like crosswalks and like that kind of stuff. But I don't think you can adequately represent someone whose shoes you could never, ever walk in. So if you continue to go down all these different variables of how we're divided, now that doesn't mean that the country is going to just implode, because there are some things I think that we all can agree on, able-bodied or not, gay, straight, trans, queer, male, female, liberal, conservative. I'm not entirely sure what those things are, but there's got to be something somewhere. So there are some things that bring us together. It's not a sense of patriotism. It's not that. I don't even know if we believe that we have a common enemy. I think we can manufacture an enemy, right? As Americans, there's another country that we probably hate. It used to be Russia. Now Republicans like Russia all of a sudden, so I'm not even sure who our common enemy is. I know what our common enemy should be. And this is what I believe can unite the country in ways that we are too afraid to explore. Racism is everyone's common enemy. It hurts white people. It hurts black people. It hurts brown people. It hurts immigrants. It hurts citizens. It hurts children. It hurts the law abiding. It hurts law enforcement. That is what the enemy should be. But again, I don't know if we can all agree on that. So with all of these divisions, might be time for a third party to say, look, we get it. We as a third party can articulate all of the ways in which we are different. Men different than women, gay different than straight, black different from white, immigrant different from citizen. Let's put all of that aside. Let's agree that we're different. Let's agree that we don't see the world the same way. Let's agree that we interact with the world differently. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just what it is. A third party candidate in times like these of incredible division, where you have the eventual Republican nominee potentially going to prison in like a bunch of places. Like, y'all know that Trump can go to jail in like states and the federal government at the same time. So you have that. You have Joe Biden, I guarantee Joe Biden is taking a nap right now. But here's the problem. He's supposed to be giving a speech. He's up there at the podium sleeping. So you got him. Like, that's the leadership at the top. Like, that's who we have to choose from as of right now. Now you got some other folks that are trying to challenge Donald Trump to no avail. You got a Kennedy that's trying to challenge Joe Biden, who is insane. So Bobby Kennedy's son, he's like an anti-vaxxer weirdo. He's raising all sorts of money because he's insane, like literally insane. Former heroin addict. I mean, not that that matters, but he's nuts, and he's trying to challenge Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination. Thankfully, he doesn't have a chance. But with all of this disagreement and confusion, it very well could be time for a third party to say, look, we know the country is screwed up. We know we can't move forward. We know that we are divided across all of these different lines and variables, red versus blue, gay versus straight, man versus woman, et cetera, et cetera. Here are some common sense solutions that we can agree on. My intellectual mentor, and I think one of the most profound philosophers of our time, is running for president on a third party ticket. And it makes me nervous, because this man has a kind of brilliance that you rarely see. In fact, I was so honored when I interviewed him many years ago. You hear him showering me with praise in my intro to this program. He's running for president. And we're going to talk about Dr. Cornel West on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on the new 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Looking for natural health and beauty solutions? Earth Angel Studio has you covered. Our organic products nourish your body and promote overall wellness. Try our unique tea blends for a perfect balance of flavor and health benefits. Join our exclusive membership for first access to new products and services, members-only sales, and exciting prize giveaways. Our experts offer top-quality spiritual health services like yoga, meditation, and Reiki. Visit Earth Angel Studio in Milwaukee, Sherman, Phoenix for transformative health and wellness solutions.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I know how much you love listening to me bring all the smoke each and every day from 1 to 4, but now, not only can you hear me bring all the smoke, you can watch me bring all the smoke because the award-winning 1017 The Truth is streaming live. Watch all your favorite shows live.
Yeah, Truth Nation, you heard Tory Lowe right. We are streaming all of our shows live every day. To watch the best radio station with the best on-air hosts in Milwaukee, you have to go to 1017thetruth.com and click the Watch Live link. From there, you'll be able to stream us on YouTube and Twitter and get an inside look on all the fun, like watching me from noon to 1 as I do my daily fire freestyle live. Now you know your girl got them bars, right, Benjamin?
Yeah, Mel, you got them bars, and the truth is must-see TV. So make sure y'all tap in to see my boy Tory Lowe and my girl Melanie Ricks to do their thing live every day by streaming 101.7 The Truth on YouTube and Twitter. We live, baby.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay. Smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Freddie Peralta tossed 6 scoreless innings and matched a career high with 13 strikeouts as Tyrone Taylor hit a 2-run homer, and the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Cincinnati Reds 3-0 on Wednesday afternoon. With the win, the Brewers now lead the NL Central by 1.5 games. Next up for the Brew Crew, a 3-game set down in Atlanta against the Braves, which will begin on Friday. The Packers kicked off the start of their training camp on Wednesday. Day 2 of camp will continue on for Jordan Love and company later today. Aaron Rodgers, the league's 4-time MVP, has signed a reworked contract in which he voluntarily reduced his salary by about $35 million over the next 2 seasons. And finally, the U.S. women's national team draws even with the Netherlands on Wednesday night in a 1-1 tie. Team USA will have a little time off here. Their next match is Tuesday, August 1st against Portugal. This sports update is brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Even though Joe Biden gained a healthy popular vote victory in 2020, a shift of a handful of votes in 3 states, Georgia, Arizona, and Wisconsin, could have created a 269 to 269 tie in the Electoral College. As you know, 270 votes in the Electoral College is how many you need to win, throwing the election to the House of Representatives where Donald Trump would have prevailed. That's a frightening thought. A little history for you. In 1948, President Harry Truman was on the ropes. He was personally unpopular and faced breakaway candidates from his left, former Vice President Henry Wallace, running as the head of the Progressive Party, and to his right with the Dixiecrats headed by Strom Thurmond. Although Truman lost 2.4% of the popular vote and 39 electoral votes to Thurmond and another 2.4% of the vote to Wallace, he managed to beat Republican Thomas Dewey 49.6 to 45.1%. The story of the 2024 presidential campaign could be a rerun of 1948 with a different ending. As in 1948, an unpopular incumbent Democratic president may well face Democratic defections to his left and his right. A leading black public intellectual, Cornel West, will be filling Henry Wallace's slot as the presidential nominee of the Green Party. To Joe Biden's right, No Labels is threatening to run a, quote, independent bipartisan ticket that could be headed by centrists such as Harry Logan, the former never-Trump Republican governor of Maryland, Joe Manchin, the moderate Democratic senator from West Virginia, or Arizona's independent senator Kirsten Sinema. It's much too early to assess the impact of this dual threat, but the early signs are not encouraging for President Biden. A recent poll by Echelon Insights, a Republican-leaning survey research firm, found that while Biden would narrowly defeat Trump in a rematch of their 2020 contest, Cornel West would receive 4% of the vote in a three-way race, giving the edge to Donald Trump. Cornel West would draw about 3/4 of his support from potential Biden voters, especially blacks, young people, and voters with graduate degrees. So Cornel West is a much more thoughtful, intellectual, critically thinking, race-conscious Bernie Sanders. He's a whole bunch of stuff that Bernie Sanders isn't, wasn't, and could never be. Now, I got a couple of text messages. I got one from LT that says that Cornel West was too anti-Obama for him to vote for. Cornel West was critical of Obama like we all should have been. See, we had a set of expectations for the first black president. He was going to free us. He was going to do all the things for us. He was going to give us the reparations and the 40 acres and a lot of mules. And what else did we need? We was going to get something, better schools, better roads, houses. Black people were all going to win the Powerball. Obama was supposed to bring it all home for us. All of the hundreds of years of institutional and structural racism at every single level and facet of American life, Barack Obama was going to fix it. Incorrect. Our expectations, they were too high. I think in the beginning, it's like, oh, wow, this is cool. A black dude getting the Democratic nomination. Oh, we'll be happy with that. Oh, a black dude winning a bunch of delegates to be the Democratic nominee. That's cool. We'll be happy with that. Wait a minute, Barack Obama won Iowa. Wait a minute, he's raising a whole bunch of money. Wait a minute. Oh, my God, he got elected president. Yay, it's history making. We had no policy agenda for him. Just the fact that he was black. Like, the celebrations for Barack Obama, this is a really weird comparison, but come on, you guys know what you're in for when you listen to me. We were just happy he won. We didn't expect him to do anything. The only thing that we wanted for Barack Obama was for him to not get assassinated. You want to talk about a low standard? I just hope he don't die, because we know what America does to our leaders, especially black folks that have the ability to unite, not just us, but unite us with white people. Barack Obama's campaign was very, very Caucasian, very, very white. All of it was. But they knew how to do it, right? If you're going to nominate somebody, Barack Hussein Obama, who didn't necessarily come up through the traditional channels of the black politician, then the white folks were like, look, just let us handle this, okay? Like, no, seriously, you guys just chill out. We're going to take care of this, you know? You guys don't have to do anything. We got it. Because they're the ones that found him. We didn't find Barack Obama. Didn't nobody see him walking around the south side of Chicago as a community organizer in the 90s and say, hey, dude, you're going to be president? Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson weren't promoting Barack Obama when he was in his 20s and 30s and going to law school. No, the white folks found him and gave him to us, and we accepted it. But the white folks have given us everything else. They gave us our freedom, which is weird. All the gains that we have made have been given to us. And it's weird because we celebrate black accomplishments, we've always been good enough to get the job, to be the CEO, to be the elected official, to run the business. We've always been good enough. And throughout history, it is illustrated. We have created, we have invented, we have helped, we have assisted, we've done everything. We've always been good enough. But the fact that we celebrate whatever a black person does, when you're the first black person to do X, Y, and Z, we celebrate it. We shouldn't. We make it seem like, oh, wow, we're finally good enough to be the first black librarian of Congress, whatever. It has nothing to do with that. We've always been good enough. What white folks should be celebrating is they're becoming less racist and allowing us these opportunities that we've always been good enough for. So when we have a first black whatever, there's always something a black person is doing for the first time, some job, some position, something in society. I don't celebrate that. That's more reflective of white people saying, all right, we'll give you this one. That ain't nothing for us to celebrate. They should celebrate that. The fact they're like, oh, we're allowing black people to, live their lives and illustrate their success. But we should have been more critical of Barack Obama. And I don't think that we saw the presidency as an institution that doesn't change. It doesn't matter who's in the position. It is an institution that maintained slavery for longer than it didn't. Just because you put an African American somewhere, and this holds true everywhere. I need y'all to know this. This is a political talk show, right? I talk about a whole bunch of other stuff, but for the most part, it's political. I need y'all to know that if you put a black person in any position, that does not erase racism. Because we obtain a position, white people don't surrender. They become more racist. So when you hear black folks talking, especially in this city, we got all these black leaders. We got a black mayor. We got a black county executive. We got all these black elected officials. They ain't doing nothing for black people. That's because they can't. There's this thing called white people that exist to make sure that we don't outpace them. So y'all really believe that if you get a black elected official, the white people that hate black people are just going to say, oh, well, they elected a black. Let's just let them have everything they've been asking for. Let's take away qualified immunity. Let's take away the income disparity. Let's take away the skills gap. Oh, fine. You guys got elected. You have black leaders. We'll surrender. Are you kidding me? If you're playing in a national championship game and it's 30 seconds left, and you're down by 2 points, are you just going to say, no, they're just probably going to win. We might as well. They played us really well. We'll just surrender. No, you're going to fight like hell to win. White people in this country, you're down 2 points. And we in the fourth quarter. They're not going to surrender. There's no way. They're going to fight even harder. In fact, some of their most sinister instincts are going to come out because demographically they're losing. So I'm going to take a break, come back. I want to know what you guys think about voting for a third-party candidate. Whether you think a third-party candidate can win or not is one thing. Maybe you vote for a third-party candidate as a form of protest because you don't like what Biden and Harris are doing, and you don't like what Donald Trump and Tim Scott, who he likely will nominate, you don't like what they're going to do either. So you want to punish those parties by putting your vote in another place with a third-party candidate, maybe Cornel West. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. This is your 1017 The Truth News Update.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Ricks with your news update. The Cardinal Stritch University campus is being sold to a foundation which focuses on educational ministries, including a large private Christian school on Milwaukee's South Side. The Ramirez Family Foundation is paying $24 million for the 43.5-acre campus, which features 12 buildings totaling 607,000 square feet in Fox Point and Glendale. The foundation doesn't yet have a specific plan for the campus, but it was listed for sale in June after Cardinal Stritch, facing a $6 million deficit, said that it would close at the end of the 22-23 academic school year. The campus will be used to fulfill the foundation's mission and not be replaced by apartments, condominiums, or other commercial development, said Gus Ramirez, the foundation co-chair. The foundation supports St. Augustine Preparatory Academy, which is a large K-4 through 12 voucher school in Milwaukee. Cardinal Stritch's enrollment in its final year was around 1,200 students. That had been declining since the Catholic College peaked with more than 6,000 students in 2007. The foundation will study uses for the campus over the next year. Black Arts Fest will return on Saturday, August 5th. Black Arts Fest MKE exists to celebrate the deep roots of African heritage and the creativity of Black cultural arts. This year's festival will be held on Saturday, August 5th from 12 noon until 10 p.m. The festival takes place on the Summerfest grounds, and you can find more information as well as purchase tickets by visiting blackartsfestmke.com. This was the news update on 1017 The Truth. The Tori Lowe Show is next here on the new 1017 The Truth. Hey Truth Nation, it's your girl Melanie Ricks from Nothin But The Truth, and we want you to join us for our inaugural Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 12th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School in Milwaukee. We're bringing the community together for a family festival that will have something for everyone. There will be live music, delicious food, financial resources, healthcare resources, and free haircuts for all kids. So mark your calendars for Saturday, August 12th to come out to our Truth Family Fest, sponsored by Ascension Wisconsin, Educators Credit Union, Hunger Task Force, and Associated Bank.
Hip-hop royalty Shaggy with Salt and Pepper.
She even caught me on camera. She saw the marks on my shoulder. Push it good. Push it real good.
Coming to the State Fair main stage, presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel, August 4th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale now at wistatefair.com. Shaggy with Salt and Pepper, Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I lost my 10-year-old daughter, Teresa, to COVID in just a few short days. Teresa was a healthy child who loved to dance. When Teresa got sick, I didn't think it was serious until she was rushed to the hospital. COVID and flu can be serious for anyone, but they're especially dangerous for communities of color. Please get your COVID and flu vaccines and stay up to date on all immunizations, because vaccines save lives.
To learn how to protect your family, visit vaccinateyourfamily.org/learn.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Euro Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Let's talk to The Town. You're on the new 1017 The Truth.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Sounds like you're in a wind tunnel.
Man, yeah, I'm on the E-way. I'm on the E-way coming back from the bank. But
roll your windows up.
All right. I am. Okay. I am. It is. Hold on. Let me cut the air down.
There you go.
It's getting hot, bro. He's trying to burn me up. Okay. But Cornel West, man. Hey, I love that brother. First off, I need to say that. You hear me?
I hear
love that brother.
I hear
He 100%. He 100% right. Like it's just like a good guy, truly good guy. Ain't nobody 100%, but man, he close 100%. You can get when it comes down to the brothers and the sisters. That I got to put out there first. I say that to say I don't think you should be running for president. I don't think you should, because y'all doing this the wrong way. It's like, as far as third parties, they trying to start from the top down, as opposed from the bottom up. And the Republicans and the Democrats, they already got their infrastructure in place. They already got their donors in place. They already got, you know what I'm saying, their sneaky men and whatever they do with their tricks. They already got all them people in place. It's going to take like at least 15 years for an outside party to go and get that power in order to try to get the presidency. Now, with Obama and this whole Democrat thing right here, Republican Democrat thing, and black people, like with Obama didn't have a chance. He had a chance when he first got up in there, when they had the Senate, they had the House of Representatives, you know, and like he used all that capital on Obamacare. I'm not saying it's wrong. That's cool. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Healthcare for brothers and sisters. I'm cool with that too. But he could have put more up in there. He could have pushed more through that, but he couldn't push more through that because of some of the Democrats, the right leaning Democrats that was in his party or whatever like that. But I think he should have did it because, as history tells you, after that though, the Republicans, they got real mad at. They got real raucous, and they did everything they can do to get the House of Representatives after that. So we had a chance right there to get a lot of the stuff that black people were you know what I'm saying, we're talking about. Not necessarily reparations, but a lot of stuff that we could have got. And if there was an opportunity, and I felt like he missed it. Now, what we got right now with the Democratic Party, I'm sorry to say this, but man, you really don't got no choice. I mean, for real, if you black, straight up, you really don't got no choice. You really have to vote for Biden. This is why I say that, because this is a long game. Even when we put Biden in there the first time, we was putting them there so we can hold this presidency for 1, 2, 3 terms.
That's how I got more. 20 seconds left.
Anyway, we don't got no choice because Kamala Harris coming up. We stuck with her. We stuck, like it or not. That's just how it is.
All right. We'll leave it there. He says we're stuck with Kamala Harris. I don't know if Americans like to be told that they're stuck. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
On Thursday, July 27th, we invite all of Truth Nation to join us at the Broken Bat Brewery located in Milwaukee's 3rd Ward for a fundraiser to support the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Breast Cancer Care and Research Fund. Vivian King and I, Bailey Coleman, will be broadcasting live from the fundraiser as we help bring awareness to the fight against breast cancer. So join us Thursday, July 27th at the Broken Bat Brewery. That's 135 East Pittsburgh Avenue. From 4 to 8 p.m. to help fight for a great cause.
This is 1017 The Truth, Sherwin Hughes, host of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. My show is enlightening, entertaining, educational, and informative. We talk about everything from national issues to things happening right here in our own backyard. More importantly, I discuss ways that we can come together and find solutions collectively. Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes Monday through Friday on 1017 The Truth from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants,
By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. So before we took our break, the town was saying that Obama could have did more. Did enough, did a little bit, did the Affordable Care Act, but he could have did more. No, he couldn't have. Remember the economy at the time that Barack Obama got elected? Banks were no longer lending. There was a major home foreclosure crisis. The stock market was tanking. We were losing something like 800,000 jobs every single month. So he had to right that ship too. Oh, and don't forget, we were in 2 wars that were incredibly unpopular with the American people because the reason why we were in those wars, essentially a lie. And so for him to, it took a while, in the wars, more than right the economy exploded under Barack Obama's stewardship. Home prices stabilized and people were buying houses again. The housing market got back up to where it was supposed to be, and he signed the Affordable Care Act into law. That was the best he could have done. Now, here's the other thing. Black folks need to look at our overall demographic position in society. It seems like we're more than 13 or 14% of the population, but we're not. We are still a numeric minority. The only time we become a majority is when you combine us with other people of color, which is difficult because none of them were slaves. Their histories and their trajectories and even the reasons why they're in this country so dramatically different than ours. It's hard for us to work together with them because they just don't see the world the way we do. But we're a minority. So you can't do everything that the 13%, 14% of the population wants. But also, it's not even 13 or 14% of the population because there's a lot of us that don't vote. There's a lot of us that can't vote because of felony convictions and because of age. So when you look at black voters in this country, 20 million of us on a good day, maybe. And of that 20 million, maybe 15 or 16 million go vote, maybe on a good day. So how can you have all of these major sweeping changes for 15 or 16 million people out of 350? But no, I get it. Right? As a black person in elected office, especially the presidency, you're supposed to do a whole bunch of stuff for your own people. Like white folks can get away with that. Like they can do a bunch of stuff for themselves and get away with it. We can't necessarily enjoy such a privilege. Let's talk to Al. You're on the new 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good, and I hope everybody's having a good day. I think Cornel West would be a great candidate because, number one, he's educated. I don't think he would be a punk. By no means. My only thing when it comes to us as black folks, will they stand behind him because he's black? Because you do have some of our own people who feel it's only right if they're white. And some of them feel they have to be told what to do. Or the other thing is some people, still care about what people think because we are very judgmental when we come to each other. And last but not least, some of our people still have that old Negro spiritual mentality. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. And I think that could stop us. But I do feel he would be the best candidate right now, because we are divided, and some of us don't want to come together to get us to move forward due to the color of our skin. But I do feel Cornel West would be the best person right now to run for president, because I will back him. But the downside is when they say some black people don't do enough, but when you do have the ones who are willing to bite, they say, no, we just want to scare them. No, you don't want to scare them. You want to bite them because you want them to feel what you feel. So if they can change that process, I think we can move forward. And I'll leave it at that. But if they on that old Negro spiritual and they, worried about what people think, then we're doomed. But if they could change their thought process that they use against their own people and use it to vote, I think we can win. Thank you.
Al, hold on before you go. You would vote for Cornel West even though he is like super ultra religious? Like he's a theology professor. Like he believes in Jesus more than Jesus believes in Jesus. That wouldn't stop you from voting for him?
It wouldn't stop me from voting for it, because one thing I know he couldn't tell me where none of these people are buried.
Oh, okay.
So no, that wouldn't stop me from voting for him, because I know he would be for black people and he would not be no punk. It's the issue when you have black people who hear Jesus and they say, oh Lord, I'm not gonna get to heaven. I might have to burn in hell, and it's a fear tactic. Because for some black people, they will run through hell to get their heaven on earth, not wait till they ride in the box under 6 feet of dirt to get something that was denied to them on earth that they should have now. So I will vote for them. Now, don't ask me to come to church, because I'm going to look at you and laugh. I'm not sitting there sweating and getting funky for somebody to say something that they can tell me in 20 minutes in my house. But, yeah, I would definitely vote for them.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Al. Appreciate your call.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. You too. Cornel West would receive at least 4% of the vote in a three-way race, giving the edge ultimately to Donald Trump. West would draw about 3/4 of his support from potential Biden voters, especially blacks, young people, and voters with graduate degrees. Meanwhile, a poll by Data for Progress suggested that a centrist independent candidacy would also hurt President Biden more than former President Trump. Like Echelon Insights and other polling firms, Data for Progress found that Biden would defeat Trump in a closely contested two-way race, but in a three-way race featuring Trump, Biden, and an unnamed moderate independent candidate, Trump would again come out on top because the third choice would draw 6 percentage points from Biden's support versus 3 points for Trump. Otherwise put, in a two-way race, 41% of the potential supporters of a moderate independent choice would support Biden, compared to just 24% who would support Trump. It's very early in the race, of course, so these findings should be read with a healthy pinch of skepticism. Still, they suggest that a four-way race may not go as well for Joe Biden in 2024 as it did for Harry Truman in 1948. The difference is the baseline balance between the two major parties. In 1944, Democrats were on a roll. In that election, FDR defeated Thomas Dewey by 7.5 percentage points, 53 to 49, 53.4 to 45.9. The Republicans nominated Dewey a second time in 1948, and the Republican candidate ended up with roughly the same share of the popular vote as he had 4 years earlier. The reason why a third-party candidate looks more attractive now than it did, say, in 2000, I think Ralph Nader, was that the guy that ran in 2000? And it took just enough from Al Gore to where George W. Bush got elected. And then we had another third-party candidate, maybe in 2004, Where they took just enough from the Kerry Edwards ticket to give the re-election to, it might have been Ralph Nader again. And then, of course, we know the issues and problems that Bernie Sanders brought up when he was running, and he directly challenged Hillary Clinton for the nomination in 2016. He ultimately dropped out. We have not made enough progress on the issues that Americans agree on. And climate is one of them. Now, Joe Biden is doing a lot, but still not enough. I don't know if y'all been checking the temperature in most of the country, but this is not normal. And I'm not going to argue with folks that don't understand the science behind climate change. I'm tired of those arguments. Like, those arguments are even worse than having the vaccine argument. If someone doesn't understand the science of it, it doesn't make it untrue. If the science of how the Earth's atmosphere is getting heated because of byproducts of us burning fossil fuels for the last 200 years, like if you can't understand that the Earth is a sealed system and that there are CO2 emissions that are trapped underneath the glass dome of our atmosphere, and how that's slowly heating up the Earth and the sun's rays are not able to be reflected back out into outer space, and it's melting the polar ice caps, which acts as like the air conditioning unit for Earth. And the more ice that melts, the hotter the world is going to get. If you don't understand that, then we just can't have this conversation. But on the things that we agree on, and you got people that, are anti-climate, they don't believe in, climate change, that are dying in Texas and in Arizona and in Nevada right now, who are quickly changing their minds. Like, wow, maybe there is something to this global warming. Maybe there is. But on the issues that, especially like the younger generation, like my generation and older, we don't care. If anything, the way I look, I see it's a big issue. It's a global problem. But when the world is like at the point of no return when it comes to climate, I'll be dead. So, what do you want me to do? You're lucky if I recycle. Just saying, my generation doesn't look at climate, and the baby boomer generation doesn't look at climate change the way millennials, Gen Z, the alpha generation does, et cetera. Because they're gonna die. They're gonna go extinct. If I'm lucky, I'm just saying, Rhea, I've lived most of my life throwing plastic all over the place. I used to throw plastic in the ocean for fun. That's what we used to do. Look at all the plastic. Let's see if we can get it to float in Lake Michigan. Let's litter all sorts of plastic things. Well, we fixed the hole in the ozone layer. We fixed that. That was all the environmental stuff that I think my generation did. I also think that people are frustrated with Joe Biden. He's old, too. That's the other thing. If you're 18 years old and idealistic and have the whole world ahead of you and all this opportunity, do you want to vote for someone older than your grandparents? I really got to think about that for a second. If I'm 18 years old, just out of high school, maybe I got a job, maybe I'm going into the trades, maybe I'm going to college, do I want to vote for someone who is past life expectancy? What do they offer? He tried with the student loan forgiveness. That didn't go anywhere. And it makes me nervous because I don't know if Joe Biden now has the strength to fight off a major challenge from a third party candidate. In 2020, it was different. We had 4 years of Trump. We saw what he did. A lot of people were dissatisfied. And really, COVID was a major factor, too. Who was going to continue to get vaccines out to people and make sure that we had the resources to get back to normal? Because I think that's what one of the top issues. Obviously, George Floyd was an issue, too, in 2020, but we wanted to get back to normal when it came to COVID, and Donald Trump was doing a little bit too much denying. Having 4 years of him very well could have prolonged or exacerbated the COVID-19 pandemic. Ain't no COVID no more. In fact, all the money that we got and all the stimmies have run out now. So now we're just left with Joe Biden and whatever his legacy is. But all things considered, he's actually been a fairly decent president. But he's going to be a much tougher sell past the pandemic than he was during the pandemic. Got a question for y'all. Would you vote for a third-party candidate? What if they checked all your boxes, all the issues that you deem important? What if this third-party candidate has an answer and makes promises to work on to further, your personal community's agenda? Would you vote for him? Now, they probably can't win. I shouldn't say probably. A third-party candidate can't win because the financial infrastructure of funding political parties is it's one or the other. It's Democrat or Republican. And the people that give the most money they're gonna pick one or the other. They're likely not gonna put their huge resources and their corporate resources behind the third party. But here's the thing: the American people could be the largest financial contributor to any political candidate. We can contribute more money than corporate America. There's 350 million of us. There's only a couple thousand of them. Now, they got some billions and billions of dollars, but collectively, the American people have trillions of dollars. But trying to get Americans to spend their money and invest their money on their political views and beliefs is a very, very tough sell because we think that's supposed to be free. We're the only ones that think that elections are supposed to be free. No, you have to buy everything. Everything you want in this life. I hate to tell you, you got to buy it. I wish the internet was free. I got to buy it. I live in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is on the shores of Lake Michigan. I got to pay for water. I wish that I didn't have to charge my vehicle with electricity. I wish I didn't have to pay We Energies. We have to pay for everything. Nothing is free. Some of y'all even pay for love. But for some reason, we think that contributing to a political candidate that sees the world the way we do, that speaks our language, that can make things better, or at least try to work on some of the things that we collectively all agree on. We'll never pay for that. Every now and again, y'all might give $5, $7 to Lena Taylor. I know, every so often. But for the most part, we do not see the political process as something that we should be purchasing. It should all be free. And here's the other thing. You get what you pay for, right? You don't contribute anything, you ain't going to get nothing. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, if you are looking for a fun opportunity to showcase your clothing line, restaurant, nonprofit organization, food truck, or small business, look no further than doing it at our Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 12th. We are currently accepting vendor applications for our Family Fest, and you don't want to miss out on this great opportunity to promote your business and be part of all of the fun. To be a vendor, visit 1017thetruth.com to sign up today to be part of the Truth's first annual Family Fest on Saturday, August 12th at Riverside University High School.
Attention, Wisconsin veterans.
Hello, I'm Tony Evers, the Governor of Wisconsin. If you are a veteran struggling to pay for rent, utilities, or other life-sustaining services, I want you to know that the Veterans Rental Assistance Program is here to help. You have already made a most noble sacrifice. You shouldn't have to continue doing so. We are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's never easy to ask for assistance, but rest assured, we're here to help. You've always been there for us. We want you to know that we're here for you. Call 833-WIS-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727. or visit vrapwi.com. On behalf of the state of Wisconsin, thank you.
At Associated Bank, they know opportunity can't wait. If you're a female or minority small business owner, their community uplift loans could be for you. Loans range from $5,000 to $50,000. Get funds in as little as one business day. Talk to a relationship manager today about a community uplift loan and other business banking services. Call 800-270-7725. Visit AssociatedBank.com or stop by your local branch. Because you help build the Midwest and your neighborhoods, they got your back. Associated Bank, your money works here. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
Attention families, Milwaukee Public Museum wants to remind you that Kohl's Thank You Thursdays are in full swing. Receive free access to MPM's permanent exhibits on the first Thursday of every month. Milwaukee Public Museum would like to thank Kohl's for their support in making this program possible. Visit MPM's website today for more information and to book your reservations. mpm.edu/KTYT. That's mpm.edu/KTYT.
Are you a veteran who needs assistance? Do you know a veteran who needs help? The Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs is here for Wisconsin veterans, their families, and their survivors. We can help connect veterans with services such as medical care, financial and legal assistance, housing, mental health services, substance use treatment, and more. For more information, please visit wisvets.com. That's WIS vets.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs with funding provided by the Milwaukee Brewers and the Brewers Community Foundation.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Look here, Bob. You better make your comments make sense, and they need to be on topic.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm on, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, the Democrats really have to not try very hard not to have a third party, except for Chris Christie and that ridiculous Robert Kennedy. I mean, I can't even see. Us having a third party. Get behind Biden, and that's the first time I've ever heard people of color that you meant white people. That's the first time I ever heard it. And whether you realize it or not, you're a part of institutional racism because, Hannity and Tucker Carlson make millions of dollars and Rush Limbaugh made millions of dollars, 27 million. You don't make nowhere near $1 million. I don't think so. And the best thing a white man, a negative white man, has against the black people is don't give him credit. I'm still aggravated by a black woman that helped invent that vaccine and saved millions of lives. That woman needs so much credit on a regular basis. It's a shame. And you were right about climate change. Because, I don't pay no mind to it, but science, I have to say, makes too much science I have to go with. I always go with science. So, I wish, I know it's not no big deal, but I wish black people would remember, Biden did even bring up Emmett Till. We don't owe him the world for doing that, but that's taking it out there. He's trying to take it out there. And I guess that's about it, sir.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate your call.
All right.
All right then, Bob. Okay. It's not really much I could say to that. I couldn't really interject much in that. Where do I go with this? A lot of people are just fed up. And the Democrats promise a lot. And it's extremely difficult for them to deliver. Well, the other thing is you have to know when they're campaigning, when they're in politics mode versus policy mode. Politics is like poetry. It can be beautiful and flattering, and idealistic and paints a picture of the world that we all want. That's what the politics is. Policy is, how do you get that bill signed into law when you have an opposing party? And the Republican Party is putting all of its energy into just making sure that Democrats are not successful. Because I want you to think about this for a second. All the different demographic groups and constituency groups that are within the Democratic big tent, all of them, the Latinos and the blacks and the gays and the queers and the trans and the women, right? Republicans have policies against all of them, against every specific group underneath the Democratic tent. Republicans have an anti-stance. And so whenever the Democrats come up with an idea, a bill, a law, a proposal, an executive order, the Republicans are diametrically opposed to it. And so here's what the Democrats do. They promise you all of those things. They're going to fix the climate. They're going to raise the wages. They're going to give women their right to choose back. All of these things to paint this picture, this poetic picture of this ideal world. And the Republicans are not so fast. Oh, no, you're not. All those people you Democrats are trying to help, we hate. And so we get mad at the Democrats because they promised us this ideal world where wages are better, where health care is even more affordable, where we have all sorts of public transportation options. We've got fully funded education and college is free and the student loans are forgiven, and they're going to make the climate get better. They're going to promise you all those things. And the Republicans are, no, we're not going to literally do any of that. And the other thing is, African-American loyalty means everything to the Democrats because we actually have the most to gain out of everybody. We have the most to gain. In fact, if African-Americans do better as a whole, the whole country's going to do better. There's no question about that. I don't doubt it. You improve our wages because we're such consumers. We're going to buy everything. We'll buy houses. We'll buy cars. We're such consumers. You make college free. We're going to go. You forgive student loans, that will benefit us more than any other demographic group. So we absolutely have the most to gain. The other thing is this. Black people have no power. I don't know. Is that a shock to you? Like, I hope I didn't offend you with that information. We have some. We can decide close elections, right? We can elect a Democrat nationally. So that's where we have some semblance of power. But then that takes all of us and all of the states, including the battleground states, to put our vote in one column versus the other. It's the only kind of power that we have. And then we elect the Democrat and we still don't see monumental improvements in our day-to-day life. Like, you see incremental stuff. Like, we can build on accomplishments from previous administrations. But I think for what black people are owed and what we deserve and what we expect, we don't really get a whole heck of a lot. And if you don't do right by black people, you might lose the next election. Like, that's the word. We don't have any power. If we do, where is it? What is it? You can say we have economic power, right? Because we're consumers. Do you know how hard it is to get black people to boycott anything? I can tell you about a restaurant where the owners and the management are overtly racist. Don't even want black money. Don't want it because we scare away white money. They'd rather make less money than to make money from us. They'd rather make less money with an all-white clientele than make triple the profits with us. You just think about this for a second. And they made it clear. And so you would think that boycotting that establishment would be easy as pie. Man, listen. You got black folks that find out this establishment is racist, and then they literally say, well, I'm going to go there and spend even more money because then they're going to like me because they're racist now, but last time I went, my tab was $192. Well, I'm going to go next week and I'm going to spend $500. So even when we, admit that we have economic power, like, we can bankrupt entire industries. Totally could. They would just go away. If we stop spending money on certain brands, certain products, certain services, they would no longer exist. We are most companies' profit margins. They make their huge money off of us. If we channeled that and just withheld our spending even for a day, we tried to do gas outs. I stopped doing them. Remember many years ago, we'd be trying to prove some kind of a point. If black people don't buy gas on one Friday, then, all these businesses will lose all these millions and billions of dollars. Y'all bought more gas on the gas out days. So even where we do have some power, we don't exercise it. We have none. So if you don't help black people, like nothing happens if we don't get reparations. Nothing. The world is not going to end. Tomorrow is still going to be Friday. Next year is still going to be the year 2024. The year after that is still going to be the year 2025. Now, we can make stuff inconvenient. We can make crime go up. We can fill up your jails, but they already have a plan for that. We're only a real threat to one another. And so in the grand scheme of things, why would anybody help black people? Think about it. Practically, be practical with it. Now, you're supposed to help people because we're all human beings and we all are children of God and blah, 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 blah. But take all that emotional stuff out of it. Why would you help a black person? For what? Why would you put your policy energy into making lives better for black people and black children? For what? Right? It's a tough question to answer because we don't have any power. I mean, I guess what would happen if black people just went on strike and we just didn't go to work? What if we did that? Because, the Mexicans did it a couple of years ago. They did it a few times, actually. A day without us, whole city shut down. I remember the first one they did was in 2007. I didn't even know it was that many Mexicans in Milwaukee. I promise they brought Mexicans up here from Mexico for that day without us. They took their kids out of school. They closed all the restaurants, all their shops, all their stores, and they protested. And I don't even remember what they was protesting. Was it citizenship? I don't know what it was. And I remember because I worked at City Hall at the time. And we came outside of City Hall because they were going down Wisconsin Avenue. We seen all them Mexicans out there. And it was me and a couple of other of my black colleagues that worked at City Hall. And we're looking at each other like, black folks could never do this. We could never. Black people, if we had a year to plan it. Hey, everybody, on July 27, 2024, all the African Americans in this country were not going to go to work. If you're a doctor, you're not going in that day. If you're a teacher, if you're a nurse, if you're a radio host, if you're a janitor, a plumber, a welder, an electrician, we ain't going to work. If you work at the post office, we ain't going. If you work in fast food, hell, if you work in slow food, we ain't going. A whole year to plan a black walkout, we wouldn't do it. Even if we took a damn vacation day, we still wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it. We don't have any power. So if you ever wonder why conditions for us are not improving, you don't really lose if you don't help black people. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Come celebrate Milwaukee's original house party along our beautiful lakefront. Germanfest, July 28th, 29th, and 30th, featuring authentic German food, beer, and back this year, Steel Timber Sports, an international extreme sports competition with axes, saws, and more, all 3 days. Don't miss the Glockenspiel, Dachshund Derby, Culture Village, Mardi Gras Show, Drachenschau, and the Schürzenjäger, Friday and Saturday night, and so much more. For more on Germanfest tickets and admission discounts, visit germanfest.com. Holla-doo!
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Literally one call, that's all.
I made one call, and that's all, worry-free.
One call, that's all. It worked.
Just one call, and that's all.
They will do what they say they're going to do. One call, and that's all.
One call, that's all means security.
It's literally one call, that's all.
It's a phrase we'll never forget.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It's time to see what's poppin' with Melanie Ricks.
What's up, everybody? It's Melanie Ricks, and it's time to see what's poppin' with today's Pop Culture Report. So I feel like it's April Fool's in July, except this is not a joke. Twitter is officially dead, and in its place, a new name and logo now live. And the name and logo? X, as in the letter X. So Elon Musk, he followed through on his promise from over the weekend in which he told everyone that he would be officially rebranding the popular social media platform that he took over this last year. He has completely gotten rid of the familiar white bird icon and the blue background. Moving forward, Twitter will now be known simply as the letter X. His new CEO is a woman who goes by the name of Linda Yaccarino, and she put out a series of, do we even call them tweets? I don't know, we'll figure it out. But she put out a statement on the social media platform to introduce the new rebrand. I know you're probably wondering, okay, where is this coming from? But believe it or not, Elon and co, they've been leaving us breadcrumbs from the beginning. In fact, the group of investors that came together to buy the social media platform called themselves the X Corp. So low key, they've been trying to tell us all along, but what I find very, I'll say ironic is that Elon's CEO, and him for that matter, stated that the new X is going to be powered by AI. However, it wasn't that long ago that Elon was talking highly unfavorably about AI, even going so far as to call on a slowdown, if not a full-blown pause, because he thought it was too dangerous. Gotta love when the kettle calls the pot black. Am I right? We'll see how this goes. I'd like to think it's an experiment. Get it? Experiment. But knowing Elon, these changes are here to stay, so I'll catch y'all over on Threads. And that's what's poppin'.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Now, before y'all get all mad, when I say black folks don't have any power, in the grand scheme of things, we don't, because our numbers are too few. Now, we got a decent amount of money, believe it or not. We do have some consumer power. We do have some political power, because locally we can have a lot of influence. In a majority black city or majority black neighborhood, we can get African-American elected officials, which is good. I think that's a good reflection of some of the things that we can do, things that we can accomplish. Like personally, as individuals, well, we got a tremendous amount of power. We got a lot of influence as well over our social circles, over our friends, over our family, etc. But in the grand scheme of things in American politics, we're still small fries. We don't really contribute like we should. We don't get involved like we should. We certainly don't volunteer. So volunteerism, when it comes to political campaigns, is its life's blood. So if you don't contribute money, so let's say when Lena Taylor runs for God knows what, Lena would love for you to write a check to her campaign, because with that check, she can spread her message. She can define who she is. She can talk about her experience. She can talk about how she will improve conditions. She can talk about, things that she has done that has measurable results, but you can't do that unless you have money to advertise. Those door hangers that you see, those pieces of political mail that you see, the ads you hear on 1017 The Truth, and those YouTube pre-roll videos, right? So you go to your favorite YouTube twerk video, and there's a video that plays before your twerk video plays. Like, people pay for those ads to be placed. All of that costs money. But if you can't contribute money to help your favorite candidate do robocalls, or to do broadcast TV commercials or digital commercials or radio commercials, or do direct mail, you can get out there and knock on doors for them. In fact, I would argue that in local races, having a strong core of volunteers can be just as powerful as having millions and millions of dollars of campaign cash. Y'all can recall a couple of election cycles ago when the Obama folks in 2008 and 2012, and even the Biden folks during the pandemic, they was knocking on your door sometimes 3-4 times a week. Depends on where you live. If you lived in an African-American district where voter turnout was like low, they wouldn't stop bothering you. They'd send you stuff in the mail. They'd knock on your door. They'd leave a door hanger. They'd ask you if you needed a ride to the polls. They'd tell you where your polling location is. They would find out if you were registered to vote. Oh, they go to incredible lengths, don't they? When you have black districts where voter turnout is typically low, because we are the Democrats' margin of victory. Let's see what we got here. Al says, Also, I think Cornel West can reach the youth, especially in the music world, and that would be great for voting and dangerous for Republicans. Here's the interesting thing about young people. They'll go to your rallies, but they're not going to vote. All that mess that Bernie Sanders did, all those people, he got all fired up promising all sorts of stuff. Bernie Sanders perfected the poetry of politics. I'm going to forgive your student loans. It's going to be Medicare for all. We're going to fix the climate. All this stuff. And all the young people are like, yeah, Bernie. What, 25% of 18 to 30-year-olds voted in 2016? It was embarrassing. Oh, they showed up to rallies at 100%. Oh, they loved the rallies, but did they vote? Nope. Young people haven't lived enough life in chronological years to see how policy impacts everything you do. When you're 18 years old, you're more impacted by your parents than you are national policy. Fast forward 20 years with a house and a spouse and some kids and a job and a retirement fund and a different tax bracket. Every policy impacts your life. At 18, I mean, what's you got a job, maybe. You paying a little bit of taxes, paying a little bit of Social Security, which you ain't going to get for 50 years. You're impacted by policy a little bit. You got to drive the speed limit. You got to wear your seatbelt. I guess that's policy that impacts you. But the difference between an 18-year-old and a 38-year-old who's married with children, who owns a house, who's paying interest on a mortgage, who's paying back student loans, the policies that impact your life at 38 are exponentially more than the policies that impact you at 18. And so when you're young, you don't see it yet. People just tell you to vote. They can't always give you concrete examples and reasons why it's going to pay off for you. But that's the other thing. You start voting at 18, you can start creating a political paradigm that will serve you better when you're 38. That's what 18-year-olds need to do. You are voting for the world in which you're going to be middle-aged. That's actually how it's supposed to work. When parents are raising children, this is what the ultimate game, shouldn't call it a game, even though it is a game. The ultimate goal should be. You raise your children to live without you. You raise your children for a world in which you won't even be around to see. You raise your children so they can be independent when you are dead. But we don't see that, do we? We see mama's boys, they stick around their mama till they 35, 40 years old, don't they? But some of the mamas, they want their sons with them for the rest of their lives. You are doing that man an incredible disservice. You should be raising him to leave you, which is counterintuitive, right? If you raise him to leave you, your son, okay, and he's independent, he'll always come back when you need him. Does that make sense to y'all? Raise your sons to leave you, and when you need them, they'll always come back. But you got to raise them to be independent. You got to raise them to be okay without you. All right, let's see what we got here. Al says black people got tons of power. They just don't know how to use it. They have been brainwashed and duped. Same power you use against each other, you use against the Creator, and you can get your heaven and your results on earth. Rodney says, speaking of old, did you see tricky Mitch McConnell on the podium frozen yesterday? What the hell? Go take a nap already? I think he had a seizure. That's what I think. And I'm not going to joke about that. Policy wise, I don't like to do, but I mean, he's 80. He had I thought he was having a stroke actually, because he got up to the podium and he just froze. Something was going on up there. And that's not funny, because here's the thing. When we make fun of old people, even I make fun of Joe Biden falling and doing all sorts of stuff. We're lucky if that's us. Some of us won't even make it to the age in which your number one cause of death is falling. That's the thing about age. I don't think we respect it. We don't. We value youth, but it's wasted on the young. You don't really understand the world. I'll be honest with y'all. The number has moved a little bit until you're 40. Once you cross into your 40s, that's when you start to understand. That's when you begin to get it. That is when the world has thrown many things at you. You've loved, you've lost, you've excelled, you have failed, you've learned resilience. At 22, I know a lot of 22-year-olds think they know stuff. If you're 22 and you're talking to someone who's 44, and a 22-year-old will tell you all sorts of things. They'll tell you how to do this, and they know how to do that. That 44-year-old has lived your life again, right? They've lived as much life as you've lived twice. Youth is wasted on the young. Because when you get old, you then think back and you say, oh, if I only knew then what I know now. That's admitting that our youth is wasted. Because most of it, we're just dumb. Just trying to figure stuff out, listening to the wrong people, taking risks, experimenting, right? But that's part of it. It's part of growing up. Always at Work says, how about stop making promises you can't keep? But you can't say that because no one would vote for you. It's better than being lied to than expected us to keep voting for you and your empty promises. Could you imagine political campaigns if they were just honest? Could you imagine if a Democrat said, so we want to put together some climate legislation that can kind of slow down some of the carbon emissions, but we're probably not going to get that done. Yeah, we'd also like to raise the national minimum wage to $25 an hour to keep pace with inflation, but again, probably a long shot. Hey, I'm a generic Democrat running for office. We are going to make abortions legal and free again. But, it's kind of a wish at this point. Yeah, we're going to rebuild the nation's infrastructure. We're going to pave all the roads. We're going to replace all the lead laterals all over the country. But, it's something that we actually want to do, but we probably won't be able to get any of that done. That is what those campaigns would sound like. It will be all the things that we want, all the things that we need, all the things that we deserve that we simply are not going to get because the Republican Party will not make it so. The other thing about political campaigns, you can lie, you can slander somebody and you can't get sued. They lie, like candidates lie about each other. They distort each other's records and they do it blatantly. Like they lie about each other and they know that they're lying, but there's something about the way we protect speech, especially when it comes to political campaigns, that you can lie to voters and you can totally lie on your opponent and then there's no repercussions. And so there's more incentive to lie. All the fake news that we consumed from 2015 until fairly recently when they really started cracking down on it, nobody got sued for that. Nobody did. Some of the commercials that they were running, some of those ads that y'all were seeing on Facebook and on YouTube just bashing Hillary Clinton and all this other stuff, Hillary Clinton didn't sue Donald Trump because she wouldn't have won. It's crazy. Martin says, Sherwin, when you are 5 years ahead, it's easy to maneuver in 2023. Honesty is the best policy. There's no disagreement from me. I'm going to take a break, come back, read a few more of your text messages. I think we're still talking about the possibility of a third party candidate. Not that they could win the presidency, but it would be more like using your votes as a rebellion to the do-nothing Democrat and Republican parties. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, this is Sherwin Hughes, and we want you to join us for our inaugural Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 12th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School in Milwaukee. We're bringing the community together for a family festival that will have something for everyone. There will be live music, delicious food, financial resources, healthcare resources, and free haircuts for the kids. So mark your calendars for Saturday, August 12th to come out to our Truth Family Fest sponsored by Ascension, Wisconsin, Educators Credit Union, Hunger Task Force, and Associated Bank.
At Associated Bank, they know opportunity can't wait. If you're a female or minority small business owner, their community uplift loans could be for you. Loans range from $5,000 to $50,000. Get funds in as little as one business day. Talk to a relationship manager today about a community uplift loan and other business banking services. Call 800 270-7725. Visit AssociatedBank.com or stop by your local branch. Because you help build the Midwest and your neighborhoods, they got your back. Associated Bank, your money works here. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
Looking for natural health and beauty solutions? Earth Angel Studio has you covered. Our organic products nourish your body and promote overall wellness. Try our unique tea blends for a perfect balance of flavor and health benefits. Join our exclusive membership for first access to new products and services, members-only sales, and exciting prize giveaways. Our experts offer top-quality spiritual health services like yoga, meditation, and Reiki. Visit Earth Angel Studio in Milwaukee, Sherman, Phoenix for transformative health and wellness solutions.
Are you craving mouth-watering, unforgettable food? I'll Take a Bite of That has got you covered. Try their hot honey chicken with homemade honey infused with the best hot peppers, or their famous nachos. They have homemade seasonings on everything, from fries to burgers to chicken. Ordering online is a breeze and hassle-free. Just visit I'llTakeABiteOfThat.com for your pickup or delivery needs, or follow them on Instagram or Facebook. Visit I'll Take a Bite of That. It's amazing.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15's. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Talk to Derek, shall we? Hello, Derek. How are you?
Oh, how you doing, Sherwin? How you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful, man. How are you?
Don't be doing that to me.
Doing what?
Don't be mocking me.
Don't
be trying to talk like I am.
I would never do that,
Okay?
Derek. You know, Sherwin. Go ahead, Derek.
Don't do
I'm
that
sorry.
to me, Sherwin.
Oh, Derek, you're so sensitive.
You're trying to
Don't
be nice. I called all the way across the country. You're supposed to be nice.
What you mean you called all the way across the country? You dialed the same digits everybody else dialed. There's no extra effort because you live further away. I appreciate your call, Derek. What would you like to add?
Yeah, I have. I want to talk to you about something, okay?
All right.
And what I want to talk to you about is I've only known one, there was one there was only one third party candidate who won, and that was, I think, Teddy Roosevelt. But once he won, then Teddy, my understanding, he caucused with the Republicans.
You know what? I think you're right. I think he was with the Progressive Party, maybe. I think. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, but he's the only one who's won. Otherwise, you're right. I mean, I think they tried. Then they had George Wallace, and they think he didn't go any place. I think he won about 5 southern states. Do you remember him? Have you ever hearing that?
Absolutely. He was a towering figure in history. And then somebody tried to assassinate him and put him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Yeah, but he won about 5 states, and I think he hurt. I think that's how Richard Nixon got in there, because he won those 5 southern states. So it was, of course, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and I think it was Alabama and Georgia or something like that.
So your point
But,
is, it's been a very long time since a third-party candidate has won, is essentially what you're saying.
Yes. I mean, it can be done. I mean, now the only thing that can happen, a third party, not on a national level, they probably on a local level, they probably could win because they have the Working People's Party, the basic Communist Party, and then elected some people and city councils.
Yeah, we've got Democratic Socialists at pretty much every local government level. There's some on the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors. There's someone that leans toward the Working Families Party on the Milwaukee Common Council. We even have at least one Democratic Socialist that's elected to the Wisconsin State Assembly. So, yeah, locally they actually can do well because the share of votes that they need to get to win is less. But nationally, it would be impossible for a third-party candidate to win the presidency in 2024. Even if they did win, the Democrats and the Republicans and the legislative branch would not support their policies. So they would just be an empty shirt and a lame duck.
Like Teddy Roosevelt did, right?
So a president doesn't caucus with anybody. So if it's a legislator and they get elected from a third party, they would pick, like Joe Lieberman. Right? I think he became an independent, but he caucused with the Democrats. Bernie Sanders. Okay. He's a Democratic Socialist, but of course he caucused with and voted with the Democrats. But an executive, like a president, doesn't caucus with anybody. They have their own policy ideas. The Democrats and the Republicans in the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate will come up with their policy ideas, and that third-party president would just veto everything. So we essentially would get less than nothing done. We'd go backwards with a third-party candidate.
No, but Teddy Roosevelt, they said they said he caucused. He was with the Republicans because he knew he was going to get him nothing through if he would just stay with the Progressive Party.
So he would sign bills that were passed by a Republican-controlled legislature. That was 100 plus years ago.
He would push.
We couldn't duplicate that now. The country is way too different. Way too different. But we appreciate your call, Derek.
Let me ask you a question before you hang up on me. How's Cavalier Johnson doing in your opinion? Is he being? He's a young black person. Are the people giving him a chance? Is he? I know you guys are going through some tough times up there with the crime and everything. I mean, is he doing a good job? I mean, would you vote for him again? Are you happy with him? Do you regret? Do the people regret voting for him? Or I mean, we just got rid of our. I didn't get rid of, but he was terminated. A black person here in the city of Denver, and he was the mayor. And some people were happy to see him go. Some people they were very harsh on him. Are they giving? Are they doing the same thing with Chevy, giving him a chance? Or are they working with him? And how is the black community in Milwaukee working with Chevy?
Well, Derek, being that I only have 14 seconds left until I have to take a break, and your question took about a minute and a half, I can give you an answer. And the answer is, I don't know. Appreciate your call, Derek. It's very nice of you. The man asked me a 2-minute question. I only had 20 seconds to answer. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
Truth Nation, we want to celebrate the survivors of breast cancer and highlight their stories of fighting and thriving through their diagnosis. To celebrate survivors for a limited time only, we're selling specialty 1017 The Truth Thrive Through shirts. Visit 1017thetruth.com right now to purchase our limited edition Thrive Through shirts supported by Obvious Shirts. All sale proceeds go to support the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Breast Cancer Care and Research Fund. To support this effort, you can visit 1017thetruth.com to buy a specialty Truth shirt and support the fight against breast cancer. This is 1017 The Truth's Melanie Ricks, and the time is now, Milwaukee. I believe that our listeners deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that's exactly what we're going to bring to you every day from 12 to 1 p.m. We're going to be talking about life, love, relationships, sports, pop culture, and all things Milwaukee. Listen to Nothing But The Truth with me, Melanie Ricks, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
We didn't know what to expect. We were just left in a hotel.
My mom was doing drugs in the house.
Tay and Brianna spent years of their childhood in homes that weren't safe. They were placed in foster care and longed for a permanent, loving home.
I didn't know what my future was.
I wouldn't speak to anyone. I was afraid of everything.
With help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Brianna and Tay were adopted and now feel excited about their futures.
I'm studying to be a chef, and I really want to travel the world.
I'm going to be a mechanic, and I can focus on my career.
Right now, in the United States, there are more than 100,000 children in foster care, just like Brianna and Tay, who need a family now. Learn how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
All of your favorite 1017 The Truth content whenever you want. The Truth app has it all. The Truth is on 1017 and 1510 WGKB Waukesha, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 1017 The Truth News Update.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Ricks with your news update. The sounds of summer have been echoing throughout downtown Milwaukee with free live music on 5 outdoor stages all season long. They include both midday and evening gigs by some of southeastern Wisconsin's most beloved performers. If you're wondering where you can hear some free live music, here are some of the spots. Heartbeats of the City, powered by MGIC, on Wednesdays at 12 noon through August 30th, located at Red Arrow Park. PNC presents Tunes at Noon, which takes place on Thursdays at 12 noon through August 31st at the Courtyard at 411 East Wisconsin Center. Jazz in the Park on Thursdays at 6 p.m. through August 31st at Cathedral Square Park. And the Riverwalk Commons Series on select Tuesdays at 6 p.m. through September 26th, located at the Riverwalk Commons. Black Arts Fest will return on Saturday, August 5th. Black Arts Fest MKE exists to celebrate the deep roots of African heritage and the creativity of Black cultural arts. This year's festival will be held on Saturday, August 5th from 12 noon until 10 p.m. The festival takes place on the Summerfest grounds, and you can find more information as well as purchase tickets by visiting Black Arts Fest MK. This was the news update on 1017 The Truth. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes continues next here on the new 1017 The Truth.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Checking troubleshoot, moving down the line. I come up hard, baby, but that's okay, 'cause trouble man don't get in my way.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I just love me some Marvin Gaye. If I could see anybody in concert, living or dead, yeah, it'd be Marvin. When his father killed him, I was like, I think I was 8. I took it hard for some reason. Maybe I was 9. I think he got killed in 83. So I was 8. Maybe it was 84. I don't know what it was. Long time ago. He's one of the greats. All right. So Derek asked me 75 questions about the mayor. So I think Chevy's a nice dude. He really is. I think he's a good guy. I don't believe he has his own political identity. I think he needs to step out of the shadow of Tom Barrett and stop the continuation of Tom Barrett. He's his own man. He's his own person. He's got his own ideas. He's come up with some stuff. He wants Milwaukee to have a million people or something. He wants to increase the population. That's going to be a long shot. But I think he's just kind of fitting into a cookie cutter mold. Like Chevy, here's the thing. We would give him a lot of latitude and a lot of leeway if he just showed some real emotion, right? And showed some kind of empathy for black people. The whole thing with the sales tax, and what really got me, what upset me the most, is that he was like, yo, this is garbage. This is going to hurt a lot of people in our city. There's a lot of people on fixed incomes. There's a lot of people that's barely surviving right now. Unfortunately, this is garbage. And if he's just stood on that, I'm like, yeah, this was the best that we could do. I know it ain't good enough. I know it's not going to do right by a lot of you because you're not even going to see an improvement in services. You're basically going to maintain what you got, which is still probably a low level of service for most of you. He never spoke how it's going to harm people who are of lower income, which means he's detached from them. Like, here's the thing about mayors. He's not a Cory Booker. You know what Cory Booker used to do when he was mayor of Newark and it was snowing? He would get a shovel as the mayor of the city and just walk around and just shovel people to snow. Like that kind of stuff. Cavalier Johnson he's a politician. That's what he is. He's a professional one. And sometimes politicians are detached from people. But, it is what it is. I don't know. It depends on who runs against them. I don't know what 2024 is going to look like. It's going to be a whirlwind of activity in the city of Milwaukee because you got the Republican convention, which is a year from now. You've got all of the members of the Milwaukee Common Council, including those who voted for the sales tax increase. A bunch of them, well, not a bunch, all of them are up for re-election. A bunch of them, I feel, will not run again because when we had those 3 special elections going back the last 8, 9, 10 months, there was 20 candidates that ran to fill 3 seats recently on the Milwaukee Common Council. So I'd imagine a lot more people are going to want to run in the 15 seats that will be available next year. You got county board supervisor elections, the county executive himself, he's up for re-election, so it's going to be a lot. And so what I'm waiting to see is who's going to make the most compelling case to the voters for another 4 years in office. What are they going to say? What are they going to promise us? What if they delivered? What work have they done that they want to continue on? Why should we give you another 4 years? What did you do with the previous 4? Did you at least communicate with the people? Did you tell us what was going on? Did you have town hall meetings? Did you call your constituents back? Did you go see about them? Did you knock on their doors? Did you do any of that stuff? You got to earn your 4 years. Now, we know that incumbency is very powerful. So if they're already in office, the odds are in their favor that they get reelected. That's typically how it is. But I have not yet assessed what the sentiment is of Milwaukeeans. Look, a kid is getting killed once a week in this city. And the last thing that I heard from the mayor is, homicides are going down. They're less than they were this time last year. Go tell that to the mama that don't have the money to bury her son this weekend. Tell her homicides are going down. No, you tell the 7-year-old that lost their 9-year-old sibling that homicides are going down and see if that makes them feel better. It doesn't. So I don't know. We'll see. I think that I think some part of us just resigns to the fact that a lot of people in the city of Milwaukee are going to get killed. And when we had a white mayor, we blame it all on him. Well, it's you and it's your leadership, Tom Barrett, because you're white and you don't understand how to lead the black community. But then you get a black mayor and then we say, well, it's not his fault. There's nothing he can do about it. But yeah, I don't know. I know that there are varying opinions on our mayor. And I know that if he's not listening, somebody close to him is listening and all the things I say about him gets communicated. And here's the thing. I got a job to do. I have a job that requires me to be honest. When a politician does something good and is worthy of note, we'll shower them with praise. But if they're not doing right by people, or if they can't empathize with the people, I got to call that out too. Right? If somebody's doing great, give them a high five. If somebody's not doing great, well, you got to be honest about that. I think also in this city, because we have a small town, kind of a gossipy mentality in the city of Milwaukee, people take it personal. If you run for public office and if people's lives are in your hands based on the decisions that you make, okay, it's a tremendous responsibility. You are charting the course for not just the 600,000 people that live here, but for the millions of people that will come to Milwaukee and call it a home temporarily, maybe for a weekend vacation, or they're here for, 6 months at a time working on a job or staying and taking care of their parents. You are good stewards of all of those people, of millions of people. And if you can't handle the truth on the truth from a talk radio host, then you're in the wrong job. Pretty simple. But there's a cohort of people who I think liked Cavalier Johnson a lot. And politics in this town it's very two-faced. I think they liked him or they preferred him to Bob Donovan because, come on, Bob Donovan shouldn't be the mayor of anything. But also because Chevy is young and politically inexperienced and trying to find his footing and probably very insecure. Why wouldn't you be? And I think that there are some people that endeared themselves to him, or at least they appeared to endear themselves to Cavalier Johnson only because they wanted to manipulate him. They wanted to take advantage of the fact that, yeah, he's been around for a little bit. He got elected alderman in 2016, but he's still a novice. And I think some of those people that endeared themselves to him in order to manipulate him and to take advantage of him are now starting to pull away. Now, the odds are in his favor to get reelected. I'm just curious as to what he's going to tell us. Like, how is he going to convince us? I'm sure he'll be on, I don't know if he's going to be on my show because he probably don't like the way I talked about him. But here's the thing. I don't need him to come on my show. I don't know if he'd go on Dr. Ken's show. I don't know how many political interviews the morning show will do. I doubt Melanie will talk to him. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Got a bunch of text messages here. Let's start with 617. 617-291 says, quote, Joe Biden had the largest public investment in social infrastructure and environmental programs that is actually finishing what FDR started, that LBJ expanded on, and Joe Biden is attempting to complete, Green said in a video set to cheerful music. 414-712 says, hey, Sherwin, would you like an old Biden or a young DeSantis? I don't like that binary choice. I mean, an old Biden, obviously. Look, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden because it's just a matter of life or fascism. For me, the choice is clear. But for people that might have a different perspective on politics, a third-party candidate might look more attractive in 2024 than they did in, say, 2020. Then third-party candidate may have looked in 2008, 2004, or the year 2000. So we'll see. Let's talk to Sandra. You're on the new 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Fine. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm listening to you. And you were speaking of Cavalier, and as what I can see, he looks scared to me. He looks like he got a knife in his back. He don't look like he wants to speak out or nothing. And so even that police chief, he looks scary. It's just like they're wrapped around by some spell. But anyways, then they talk about the kids getting killed. And every time you speak of killings and guns and shootings, they say it's nothing we can do. We're just going to pray in our thoughts and prayers. So it's nothing they can do, and now they're mental now. So we got to work on all the stuff that they're saying to keep them doing the right thing. And then that sales tax increase, they said it's only going to go for two things: it's attention and police in schools. So we're probably not going to see no benefit. They say it can't go to nothing else. So I'm just wondering. With everything
We
that
have a
they do
really
to
bad
this
connection,
city,
Sandra. I'm wondering if is it our connection or is it yours? It's kind of choppy. Rhea, you think it's hers
it
or
could
ours?
be mine.
Okay.
It could be mine. Mm-hmm. And can you hear me?
I mean, but the audio is actually poor. But if you have a question, then ask your question now, and I can try to answer it. Or if you're just making a comment.
My question: what are we going to do for the city? Because
Yeah, Sandra, you got to call us back because it's getting worse. It was real bad. That was bad, right? Okay. Because it was like, let me see. Because that's why. And then Chevy Johnson has said, hello, my name is Sandra. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on the new 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, Benjamin, guess what?
What is that, man? What's going on?
The Wisconsin State Fair is back and it runs August 3rd to August 13th.
What? That is right. I love all the creative and delicious food there, the cool rides, and the vendor expo.
Yup, and there's always something for the entire family at the Wisconsin State Fair. That's why The Truth will be giving away a 4-pack of tickets every day this week. Don't miss your chance to win by tuning into the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Always good times to share at the Wisconsin State Fair.
It's amazing.
Attention, Wisconsin veterans.
Hello, I'm Tony Evers, the Governor of Wisconsin. If you are a veteran struggling to pay for rent, utilities, or other life-sustaining services, I want you to know that the Veterans Rental Assistance Program is here to help. You have already made a most noble sacrifice. You shouldn't have to continue doing so. We are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's never easy to ask for assistance, but rest assured, we're here to help. You've always been there for us. We want you to know that we're here for you. Call 833-WIS-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727. or visit vrapwi.com. On behalf of the state of Wisconsin, thank you.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Are you looking for an opportunity to better the Milwaukee community? Do you want to develop your skills for a career or job? City Year Milwaukee is recruiting for its 14th cohort of AmeriCorps members. We are hiring young adults ages 18 to 25 to serve our amazing scholars in Milwaukee Public Schools. This opportunity allows you to serve your community and gain professional development, which will allow you to enter the workforce, your next educational journey, or even stay with us for a second year of service. Visit cityyear.org to connect with our local recruiters and learn how to apply.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing the Black Business Give Back anymore. right? Because I haven't read anything. Well, you haven't been here for 3 weeks for you. Al said he went to the website and it wasn't working. I think it's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let me check it out. Black business. No, it was something else. Blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's see what happens. So far, ain't nothing happening. Oh, there it is. No, it's working. Black-owned business give back. Al, try it again. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Deadline date for entry during the previous quarter. So the last deadline to enter was June 30th. No. New entry dates for following quarter. So yeah, I guess you still should be able to enter it. Enter the Black Business Give Back. All right, go to blackbusinessgiveback.com and sign your black business up to get some free commercials on 1017 The Truth. Donald Trump is at 46%. Ron DeSantis is at 22%. Mike Pence, 7%. Nikki Haley, 6%. Tim Scott, 4%. I still think that Donald Trump picks Tim Scott to be his running mate. Chris Christie, 1%. Vivek Ramaswamy, 1%. Asa Hutchinson, 1%. Doug Burgum, these are all candidates running for the Republican nomination. They're all running against Trump. Larry Elder, nothing. Will Hurd, nothing. Francis Suarez, nothing. And undecided has 12%. So Trump is going to get the nomination. We will likely be the city. No, not likely. We will be the city that will nominate him because the Republican convention is here. Just wondering what that week is going to be like with the Republican convention here in our city. I mean, it'll be national attention. And when you have all that, well, international. And when you have international media descending on a small market town like Milwaukee, it gives us a chance to tell our story and highlight some of the issues that exist here. That is why I wanted to wait on the decision on the sales tax increase because Milwaukee would have been occupying an international stage come next year. And I think it would have been an opportunity for us to renegotiate how we can get additional revenue. But, I mean, it's easy for me to armchair quarterback the sales tax increase. The unfair part is Milwaukee, the city of Milwaukee has a 2% sales tax increase. And the other strings attached to it that for some reason we couldn't have any of those unnecessary, punitive, racist, and condescending strings removed. I mean, that just shows. So the political novice that our mayor is, it shows in those additional caveats. Like they steamrolled dude. They played him. They did. I mean, it also makes sense why Tom Barrett didn't want to negotiate or talk to the Republicans at all because of the things that were added into the shared revenue bill, and it was done just to be condescending to Milwaukee. That was it. A lot of that stuff that was added in, especially the cops in the schools and maintaining a certain number of police. If we don't have 1,725 police in the city of Milwaukee, not only do we lose our 10% increase in shared revenue, we got to pay a 5% penalty. Do you know how disrespectful that is? Like, we, the people in this city, don't even decide how many police we think we need. Republicans in Madison are deciding for us how many police they think we need. That should have been a non-starter. But, I mean, Chevy's just got Tom Barrett's people are surrounded by him. And I've known Tom for a very long time. Full disclosure, y'all know my history with Tom Barrett? He basically gave me my start in politics. I was a community organizer. He was a member of the House of Representatives and also running for governor. He asked me to join his congressional staff. Highest professional honor of my lifetime. I've known him for a very long time. He used to do this fundraiser at the zoo every single year where they'd rent out the zoo and a bunch of people go there and look at the animals and give Tom Barrett a whole bunch of money and eat a bunch of food. Well, at the time, his son, Tom Jr., was like 12 years old. And I was staffing Tom Barrett. So when I'm staffing Tom Barrett, I'm basically walking around with him. If constituents have questions, I got to write down their information and try to answer their questions or tell the congressman he needs to get back to this person, that person, whatever. But instead of like doing all that stuff, Tom was like, Sherwin, watch my son because he likes to run off. Just because it was me, the congressman, and the congressman's son Tom Jr. Tom Jr. was about 12 years old. A long time ago. Tom Jr. is probably 30 now. So I said, okay, gotcha. I watch these things. Like, sure, when I'm serious, make sure my son doesn't run off. Okay, man. I watch the boy. So I see the boy. Boy's in the corner of my eye. I turn around. I look. I see the boy, making sure the boy. Like, I ain't trying to sweat the boy because that would look creepy. But I'm just trying to make sure I can see where the boy is at. And if the boy strays too far away, Sherwin say, hey, boy, come back over here. Your daddy told me to watch you. I don't know who I was talking to. Who was I talking to? Maybe I was talking to Gwen Moore. She was a state senator at the time. Maybe I was talking to Spencer Coggs. I think I might have been talking to Spencer. Talking to Gwen, talking to Spencer at Tom Barrett's zoo fundraiser. I just checked out the corner of my eye to see where the boy is at. The boy is gone. Excuse me, Gwen. Excuse me, Spencer. I'll be right back. Now I can't tell nobody that the boy is gone. I got to go find the boy. You want to talk about running around the whole zoo in a panic? I done lost the congressman's son. I'm going to go to jail. They're going to hang me. I lost a white boy. He was gone. He wasn't in the general vicinity. He wasn't where the picnic tables were. He wasn't in the greeting area where you come in the reception area. The boy is gone. I'm in the monkey cage. I'm looking over by the elephant. The boy might like giraffes. I go over by the giraffe. I can't find this boy nowhere. Oh, Lord, the boy might have fell in with the sharks or something, with the polar bears. Oh, Lord, the boy's going to get eaten by a polar bear. I'm literally panicking. I lost the white boy. Well, the event was coming to an end, and I couldn't find him. So now I have to go back to where the congressman was and tell him that I lost his son. As I'm walking back toward where Tom was standing, I'm like, what am I going to tell this man? All he told me to do was watch the boy. I'm talking to Spencer and talking to Gwen for 10 seconds, and the boy took off. And I said, Mr. Congressman? He's like, oh, sure. When are you ready to go? Tom was looking for you. He couldn't find you anywhere. The boy was by his father the whole damn time. All right, let me see who we got here. Millicent. Millicent, you're on the new 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I am good, Sherwin. How are you? That was a good story. I like that.
I was scared. I thought I lost a white child.
I know. You was going to jail for real, for real. Listen, I have a question, and this is just one of those, I thought of it. I don't even know if it's a good one. But what would happen if, like you said, we're supposed to get the Republican convention. What would happen if on March 1st, Milwaukee announced we don't want them? We don't want to have it next year.
That's too late.
And we're not going to put any monies out to do anything unless the Republicans come back to us with a better deal. Because this is my thought, that if we stop their Republican convention from coming here, the Republicans here look really, really bad.
Nah, we can't. That deal's already been made. The contracts have already been signed. The federal protocols for security there's nothing we can do. And not only that, their office, the 2024 Republican National Convention office is in the building that I'm working in right now. They're right upstairs from me.
I know. So what would happen if we just said, even though the contracts are signed and everything else, we said, no, that's all right. We don't want y'all to come here. And we just stop them.
Who is the we?
Y'all can come, but we're not going to do the city.
Oh, no.
So at this point, this is what they could sue. They could sue us for not using our police officers to protect them.
So it's more than that. It's contracts with vendors. It's contracts with the FISERV Forum, and the FISERV Forum is not going to renege on their contract because they're going to get sued too. There's nothing we can. I mean, we can
what
protest
I'm saying,
it.
though, is not so much renege on the contract, but if Milwaukee says, well, we're not going to treat y'all the way you think you should be treated. Let's do them the way we did Barack Obama when he was president and came here. We're not going to protect you.
Yeah, but Millicent, who is the we? Like, when you say we are going to treat them a certain, like, who is the we? Like, who would those people be?
The city of Milwaukee. So instead of us being open and receptive to them if we just treat them like they old shoes and don't do them the way that they think they should come here and be treated.
I mean, we can be mean to them when we see them, but we can't stop
Well,
the
not
actual
so much
convention.
mean. But not so much mean. But we could make it where that convention is almost just a failure. I mean, we could do that. Make it.
I'm just trying to figure out who is the we? It's like a bunch of people.
The city. I'm saying the city.
Like the elected officials?
The city decided, okay, just something as simple as this. What if we decided, you know what? Wisconsin Avenue, we're going to close it down from Plankington to 35th Street just because.
Oh, you want to protest? We can protest, I guess.
Yeah, you could just make it so inconvenient and so ugly for them that they are going to treat the other Republicans here like, oh, y'all don't even have no control. Because that's what this is all about, is can they control us?
Yeah, they can. Like if we try to organize a major protest that would impede the Republican convention, so riot gear, tear gas, fire hoses, there's going to be a huge security. No. Oh, yes. Just wait. They had that for the Democratic convention, and that was virtual. It is a major security apparatus. People won't even be able to get close. You're going to need credentials. You're going to need ID. You're going to have to get through Secret Service.
I get that part, but I just think that there are things that we can put in place as citizens and as the leadership could put in place that would make that convention not nice.
Millicent, the leadership wanted the convention. Cavalier Johnson was one of the biggest proponents, and so trying to get him to flip would be impossible.
I wanted it too. But now with what they've done to us, I think we need to retaliate in a dirty way like they play us. That's just all I'm saying. All right. We have to come up with something to do back to them. And I know tit for tat doesn't work, but we have to. We have to come up with something to let them know we're not taking this. And it's got to be something that will hurt them. It might hurt us too, but we're hurt anyway.
Let me think about that.
They care about their appearance.
Other than a protest,
they care about their appearance.
But they would crush any protest.
Or what about this, Sherwin? I've been saying this, and people say, "What? You know how they make these blanket statements like slavery was good for black people?"
Uh-huh.
You know, it's just a dumb statement. It doesn't mean anything, but it's just a dumb statement to get the media going.
Right.
What if tomorrow Chevy and them said, "You know what? We've rethought this whole thing. We've decided that we're going to start charging a surcharge for people who get a pension."
Millicent, do you not know our mayor? You don't know our mayor, do you? The mayor is the biggest cheerleader for the Republican convention. I think when you say the city needs to make it difficult for the Republicans, no. Chevy wants the convention. He thinks he's going to get reelected because he brought that convention here to the city of Milwaukee. So I don't even think you would find.
And I got news for him. He's not gonna get reelected. If Bob Donovan runs against him, Bob is gonna win next time.
Bob ain't gonna run against him.
I'm just saying it does. I was using him as let's say Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse will beat Cavalier next time.
We'd have to. Millicent, I don't want y'all to think that these outrageous ideas could actually find an audience. It would have to be a serious, credible candidate with a significant vision for the city that even non-voters would buy into. So it can't just be, I think you're underestimating the popularity of Cavalier Johnson with rich white folks on the east side that live on Lake Drive to pay $50,000 a year in property taxes. They're going to vote for him. Yeah. Unequivocally, because they're very comfortable with him because he doesn't challenge them. He doesn't make them feel guilty for being white. The progressives like him because he's not boisterous about being black and he's not throwing institutional racism in their faces. So we got to find somebody that could get those white folks to vote for another candidate. And those white folks just want to live undisturbed, and Chevy doesn't disturb them. But I hear you. You listen, you want to get out there and protest on Wisconsin Avenue, I'll make a picket sign for you. Me and Rhea both.
Okay,
we'll
I need two.
All right, we're
going
to make you 2 picket signs.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Lee. All right, I'm going to take a break, come back. Sandra is back on line one. Sandra, you hang on. I hope your phone got fixed. We'll talk to you in a second. I'm going to take a break. Rhea, you good? All right. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Associated Bank, they know opportunity can't wait. If you're a female or minority small business owner, their community uplift loans could be for you. Loans range from $5,000 to $50,000. Get funds in as little as one business day. Talk to a relationship manager today about a community uplift loan and other business banking services. Call 800-270-7725. Visit AssociatedBank.com or stop by your local branch. Because you help build the Midwest and your neighborhoods, they got your back. Associated Bank, your money works here. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
The golden days of summer are here. More Brewers games, sun-drenched days of tailgating, and exhilarating summer nights are waiting for you at American Family Field. Embrace it all with your crew while Brewers baseball season reaches its peak. Because the best days of the year won't be here forever. Make the most of it and plan your game day at Brewers.com today.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
1017 The Truth, Sherwin Hughes for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying rent to your landlord when you should be paying yourself? Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. In fact, if you work with Axe Housing, you'll be paying, about $800 a month. An Axe Housing coach will help you put together a plan and a budget. They can even find some additional money for down payment assistance for you. All you got to do is click on the Truth link at axehousing.org. That's ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially today get in the way of your bright future becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help you. That's axehousing.org. The 1017 The Truth Street Team, sponsored by the UW Credit Union, is coming to an event near you. In fact, tonight they will be at the Thrive Through event at the Broken Bat Brewery from 4 until 8 p.m. Our Truth team will serve as guest bartenders for a good cause. All tips and 10% of the sales go to support Freighted and the Medical College of Wisconsin Breast Cancer Care and Research Fund. The 1017 The Truth Street Team is sponsored by the UW Credit Union. They are here for every you. And on August 12th, please mark your calendars. We want you to join us for our first ever Truth Family Fest from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. At Riverside High School. We're bringing the community together. There'll be live music, free haircuts for the kids, food, healthcare resources, financial education resources, and free giveaways. We're looking forward to seeing everybody on Saturday, August 12th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at our first ever Truth Family Fest. Truth Family Fest is sponsored by Ascension, Wisconsin, Educators Credit Union, Hunger Task Force, and Associated Bank. It's August 12th. So come kick it with your people. Let's talk to Sandra. You're back.
Yes, I'm back again. I hope you can hear me better.
Much better.
Okay, thank you. I was just speaking of the guy that called in, and first thing he said was about the killings and stuff, and so that's that negative thing we get here. Because first thing they think about, because there's so much flashing on TV about the killings and the children dying and this and that. But my first point is they say there's nothing they could do. Thoughts and prayers, and now they're mental. Now they need to go for mental help. So they claim there's nothing they can do, but they can go into space. They can come up with
there's
AI.
nothing? So when you say they say there's nothing we can do, who says that?
The Republicans, when they get up there, thoughts and prayers. You hear them?
Okay.
Thoughts and prayers. It's nothing we can do, and all that stuff. And it is something they could do, because their kids are not feeling this. It's our kids feeling this. And if you keep stripping the city from everything, because we had like you said, we had the industrial move here, and then when they moved out, these old buildings stayed vacant. Now, who's responsible for those buildings? And these empty houses and boarded up. Who's responsible for that?
We are.
We are? Okay, the taxpayers?
Correct.
So why couldn't we get it done? Because this has been for years, Sherman. I'm 74.
When you say, why can't we get it done, what do you want to get done with a vacant building?
We got to tear them down. The eyesores.
Oh.
You mean the city? Look, they knew how to go downtown, move homeless people from under the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
They know what to do. They just don't want to spend the money for this city. And basically, I think because we're a Democratic city. And then those offices up there are basically Republicans. And they're going to show us, they're going to bleed us out, make us the worst people in the world. And it's always black people. We're the killers, the savages, and all that stuff.
So if we tore down the old industrial buildings, what will we replace them with? Or we would just create vacant space?
Well, leave them like a park, since they're so ugly and boarded up.
All right. We'd have to
Leave
find
them
the
like
money.
A park, and maybe somebody will come investigate. I just want to say one more thing.
Okay.
My one more thing I was saying, because you do, when you come on one of your, before your shows, you say something about you believe, because a lot of the kids that's getting shot, they're dying on the spot. You said at one point that you believe they're letting them die.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And they are. And I'm going to tell you what, I got films of it. And that's what I wanted to say.
Wait, you got video footage of paramedics letting people
I sure do.
Well, where is it? I want to see it.
Do.
Where can I see it?
I want to show it to you, but I can't. It's too oversized. My phone won't pull it down a little bit smaller size. But I can show it to you.
Maybe I don't want to see it. Never mind. I don't want to see it.
You would be surprised, because even the people are saying they're letting him bleed out. They're letting him bleed out.
Well.
And see, I look at this stuff, and I know something is wrong.
So you recorded
with the city and
this,
with the makeup of offices that we have up there.
Did somebody send it to you, or did you record it yourself?
I live right in the central city. I see it.
All right. Well, I don't want to see
everything. Okay.
All right, Sandra. Have a good day. Bye-bye. You can't just tear down all the industrial buildings, because first of all, we need money for that. So where's that money going to come from? But for a whole bunch of years, y'all thought manufacturing was going to come back. Remember that? We got to bring manufacturing jobs back. We want more manufacturing in Milwaukee. We want it to be like 1962 in Milwaukee, where we make a bunch of stuff. We got all these facilities and plants, and we're going to make stuff again. So we weren't going to tear the buildings down, because the public thought the manufacturing could return. And Joe Biden has actually done a fairly decent job of bringing some manufacturing back to the United States. I mean, even Donald Trump tried with Foxconn. You can't tear down your real estate, because there might be someone that could repackage it or repurpose it. And a lot of the old industrial buildings downtown, because you always start with downtown when it comes to redevelopment, because the property values are always highest there. A lot of those old warehouses, old factory buildings have been repackaged and repurposed into high-end apartments and condos. And so now they're collecting property taxes. So had we torn all of that stuff down, we wouldn't have those dwellings that can be repackaged and then collect property taxes. And plus, if we would tear down every unused piece of property in the city of Milwaukee, our city would look like a smile with missing teeth. There'd be vacant land all over the place, and it would just sit there. And in some cases, it's cheaper to build a new building. So if you tore down an old factory, an old warehouse, sometimes it's less expensive to build a new facility. Sometimes it's more cost effective just to repurpose the building that's still there. But that explains why we just don't tear everything down. All right, take a break, come back. We'll talk to Miss Rose. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, this is Sherwin Hughes, and we want you to join us for our inaugural Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 12th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School in Milwaukee. We're bringing the community together for a family festival that will have something for everyone. There will be live music, delicious food, financial resources, healthcare resources, and free haircuts for the kids. So mark your calendars for Saturday, August 12th to come out to our Truth Family Fest sponsored by Ascension, Wisconsin, Educators Credit Union, Hunger Task Force, and Associated Bank.
Attention families, Milwaukee Public Museum wants to remind you that Kohl's Thank You Thursdays are in full swing. Receive free access to MPM's permanent exhibits on the first Thursday of every month. Milwaukee Public Museum would like to thank Kohl's for their support in making this program possible. Visit MPM's website today for more information and to book your reservations. mpm.edu/KTYT. That's mpm.edu/KTYT.
July is Thrive Through Month for Good Karma Brands, and we are proud to share an encouraging story from The Truth's General Manager, Cherie Harris, of thriving through her breast cancer diagnosis.
What words of encouragement or advice would you give to someone else who either might be in your shoes now, or they might be going through the first initial step of finding out, and their brain might be a little frantic with just a bunch of information and scenarios? So what advice would you give them, or words of encouragement?
I would say don't lose hope. This is not a death sentence. This is a reset sentence. This is something that's, yes, going to change you. It's going to change your perspective on a lot of things that you are going through. It's going to change your body makeup, but it does not define you. And it's something, like I always say, you can thrive through. And surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with a great medical team who advocates for you and give you the best care, because you're worth it. And just don't settle for something you don't know about. Ask questions. Hope is key. I would say having a positive mind, that just being positive about life is key with this disease we call cancer.
How are you able to find the right team to go through this journey with you when it comes to the medical professionals that you have?
I did my research. I went online and I looked up the biographies of my team. I wanted someone who's innovative. I wanted to be part of a research program because I feel like my outcome is going to help the next woman or next male that encounters this disease. And so I would say do your research, ask questions, ask about their history. You are entitled to do that. That's what you're paying them for. And find out, what other specialties they have outside of cancer. You could be affected by the treatment, and you're going to need them to understand what that is for you.
Support our Thrive Through initiative by joining the 1017 The Truth team on July 27th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Broken Bat Brewery in Milwaukee for a breast cancer research fundraiser. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Let's talk to Miss Rose. You're on the new 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Good afternoon, clear early morning, whatever. Sharon, I agree with the lady that was just talking. One of our problems is the mayor doesn't need to make a decision. Need us to make a decision. We don't need his acceptance to initiate a threat to disrupt the convention if he does not push to renegotiate, because he didn't need it when he made the decision, so he doesn't need it. All he needs to know is that it's not going to make him look good if he doesn't work with us to make a change and to force them, because we've got a leverage that they can't refute. Similar to what Michael McGee did when he wanted to make some changes. That's the only way. They don't understand anything except a threat. And it can be a positive threat. It doesn't have to be a negative where violence is a concern. If it's negative, it's only because the Republican Party will make it negative. The two things that we need to make demands of: number one, remove all restrictions on the demands they have and how we spend our money that we get. And number two, we should to return at least 80% of our money back to us in the city of Milwaukee. Very simple demands, and that's all. And that would stop the whole thing. But you gotta have the guts to do it. And if you don't have the guts to do it, I call it chicken liver, just like everybody else.
All right.
And that's why we have the leverage to. And this is one time we as a city can do something, because we're the people. We need the people who so-called put all these people in. If they want to maintain election or a livelihood, they will either work with us or they're going to have a bad situation the rest of their lives. So there's no ands or buts of it. That's the one way that we can make a change. The convention's going to be here, planning to direction, but we need to start meeting right away. All the little meetings start planning and we know our demands are.
Can you give me the demands one more time? Just so I'm clear.
Remove the restrictions of how we use our money, number one. Number two, give us back at least 80% of the money that we distribute, our tax dollars that we give to the state.
Oh, yeah, they'd go for that.
And give it back to us. Yeah. Regardless of how it might sound, the thing is, nothing beats a failure but a trial. Okay. And if you don't try, you'll never know.
All right.
But we've got the leverage.
So where would we begin?
Really planning.
Where's the first step though to start? We want 80% of our money and they got to remove all the restrictions, so all those caveats we didn't like in the bill. Like where's our first step?
The first step is to set up a meeting of all those who are against everything.
Okay.
Who voiced it, not those who are going to come back and say, I'm because they're the spies who are going to try to disrupt everything. But have a core group of people. And I would not say on the radio who should be out. I know whom to contact myself and make it help us. Now, if they don't want to do it, that's up to them. But at least give it a try. Because otherwise, you're no better off than the people that are doing it. Plain and simple.
Even though the law has already been signed, we basically would
doesn't matter.
Of course, the law doesn't matter.
Everything that's signed by Pope doesn't mean it can't be unsigned.
Okay.
Just remember, there's nothing cut in stone except they say you're supposed to die one of these days.
So the governor that signed the shared revenue deal, he has to unsign it.
Hey, let me tell you something. Anybody can unsign what they signed, like they did on every law in the books, just like the abortion bill. That was signed. That's unsigned.
No, actually, that's not how that works. So if you go into a business deal, Miss Rose, and you sign, let's say you get a loan for a business.
Hold
it. No, you hold it.
Logical.
No, of course I'm trying to talk logical. I'm speaking in logic. If you sign a promissory note to pay back a loan, as an example, you can't say, I unsigned that. I'm not paying you back. That ain't how the world works.
Let me tell you something. Yes, you can, if you can prove that it was done maliciously. There are a lot of things. You see, all you're looking at is the top what you're giving.
Governor Tony Evers has to prove that he signed a bill that he wanted maliciously?
No, you're doing a Republican mentality right now.
No, Ms. Rose, I'm using this thing called fact, which I think has evaded most of our politics.
No, there is no
can't unsign something? How you gonna unsign something? Your birth certificate got signed. I'm gonna unsign my birth certificate. I'm not nobody's child no more. I'm gonna unsign that contract. I don't want to pay my rent no more. I'm gonna unsign my lease.
You know what? You don't look outside the box. And people who don't look outside the box will never get anywhere.
I'm talking about the signature box. You can't unsign something.
Let me tell you something. Anything that's done by mankind can be undone by mankind. Always remember that. Nobody has a higher power than the Lord. And then man is a human being, and they can screw up, you can be unscrewed.
All right.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
It's how you look at it.
How I look at it. No, fair enough.
Okay, dear. Take care.
You know what it is? These octogenarians, they just call here to mess with me. That's all it is. See, they know how to get under my skin. See, Get me hot talking about he can unsign it. Good God. Millicent, you did all this. How dare you give black people hope? What's wrong with you? Talking about we going to stop the Republican convention. Way too late for that. That ship is sailed. And here's what's crazy about it, right? I could talk about this. Oh, yeah, we're going to stop the Republican convention and we're going to make them look real bad because we want to renegotiate our shared revenue. Yeah, if I talked about it every single day for 3 hours a day and we organize something major to try and stop the Republican convention because the people in Milwaukee want to renegotiate the shared revenue deal. You know what would happen? We'd have a meeting at the Clinton Rose Center and 9 people would show up. 9 people. And then at the next meeting, it would be 2 people. Oh, look at her. She calling back. Listen here, Millicent. You over here trying to start a revolution. Y'all over here starting a revolution ain't got no damn guns. You ain't got no ammunition. You ain't got no policy. You ain't got no campaign contribution. Over here trying to start a revolution. With Miss Rose says you could just unsign it. Well, then hell, I should have unsigned the loan for my mortgage. Hi, mortgage company. I want to unsign that. I don't want to pay anymore. I want to live here for free. They're going to be like, you better unsign your ass out into the street because we're going to take your house from you.
I have a note from Melisande.
Say it on the area.
I'm on there.
Oh, okay. What is it?
She said we can send in bomb threats.
Hey! Y'all trying to get me canceled. Why y'all trying to, what did I do today? Rhea got mad, said, oh, when I was gone, you was talking about funny stuff. I come back, you want to talk about an election don't happen for a year. Millicent is clearly losing her mind. Miss Rose said we can unsign stuff. Is it a full moon? This is what happens when it's a full. Zach, now what do you want to add to the conversation? You might as well. Good God Almighty. Talking about
be a part of it, Sherwin.
Unsign. What you want me to do? I'm just a radio host. Zach, don't show your titties. Seriously. What is happening? How much show is left? Melanie, hurry up and get in here. God, I ain't gonna talk for the last minute and a half. We just gonna sit here.
Oh, you do have a minute and a half.
You want me to sing a song? I ain't got nothing to say to y'all no more. Talking about we can unsign something. Anything that sign can be unsigned. When? How does that work? Guess what? I'm going to the dealership after work today. That's right. I got good credit. They'll give me a loan. What kind of car should I get? Should I get a Porsche? Should I get a Ferrari? What should I get?
Actually, something's more important. Zach will be DJing tonight at the Drive-Through event. Just wanted to put that out there.
We ain't talking about Zach right now. Wait till Tori Lowe be in. You talking about that. I'm talking about I'm going to unsign something. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get me a house on Lake Drive. I'm going to get a Ferrari and a Bentley, and I'm going to get a Tesla, and I'm going to sign all the paperwork to get my house and to get my cars. And then the next day, I'm like, hey, everybody, I'm going to unsign all that stuff because Miss Rose said it on the radio. So I'm just going to unsign everything. Ha ha, gotcha. You just gave me a house and a Bentley and a Ferrari and a Tesla for free because I unsigned it. I thought you had me. You didn't. And I'll skip away. I won't even run. I'll skip because I unsigned everything. Good Lord. I'm not even reading these text messages. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening to my show. Now I'm going to unsign off. Bye.
Truth Nation, during July, we want to celebrate the survivors of breast cancer and highlight their stories of fighting and thriving through their diagnosis. All month long, you will hear about the journey of our beloved General Manager, Cherie Harris, and how she thrived through her diagnosis. On Thursday, July 27th, we invite all of Truth Nation to join us at the Broken Bat Brewery, located in Milwaukee's 3rd Ward, as our hosts will serve as guest bartenders for the night. All tips and 10% of sales go to support the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Breast Cancer Care and Research Fund. 3rd Street Market Hall is downtown's latest first stop must stop destination, featuring 19 local food vendors, 2 bars, a patio, live music, and more. There's something for everyone at 3rd Street Market Hall.
Want more truth with Sherwin Hughes? You can now stream on demand all day, every day by downloading the Truth app or streaming on Spotify, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Stitcher. Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org.
Join the livest radio show in Milwaukee, Nothin But The Truth with Melanie Ricks. Listen every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
She's alright, that girl's alright with me. Yeah.
Milwaukee, it is time for the most live 60 Minutes in Radio.